Here I am, Mr. Fairy Universe. Oh, no, I wasn't ready. I wasn't paying attention to the screen. Didn't realize the countdown had ended. So, you know the drill. I have to scramble to get everything ready. But I've got things ready. Some things prepared. I just wasn't prepared myself. The screen is prepared. How's everybody doing? I'm doing wonderfully. Internet's going insane. The world's going insane. So let's watch and see what's going on. Doesn't really have much to do with me. Just means that I'm gonna consume less culture from the olden era, I guess, legacy culture, because it's all full of pedophilia. And no thanks. I don't want any of that. So I've got a few things lined up. I don't know what the whole show is going to be about. I'm going to look over X, I guess, for a little while. Breaking. Bill Gates was planning pandemic simulations with Jeffrey Epstein in 2017. You can't make this up. That is insane. What is this? Is this talking?
Now here we are.
Oh, whoop. It is talking, but I got to make it talk to me. Here we go.
Now here we are. You know, we didn't simulate this. We didn't practice.
On behalf of our partners in the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
So both the health policies and economic policies, we find ourselves in uncharted territory.
Uncharted territory. Larry and I have been working on deliverables for my time at BGC3 since you and I spoke at Larry's request. Spoken with Roger, Mark, Chris, Trevor, Jeff, and next week, Bose, Jonah, everyone has offered guidance, thoughts, and ideas as Larry works to put together any required documentation. We're trying to make sure we make this time valuable. I don't know. 2 areas where I'm interested in terms of scope: domestic health and neurotech brain science. Whoa, okay. I propose these as deliverables, plus Larry and I know what you think. Deliverables to improve access and secure personal health data, blueprint and or recommendations for a zero knowledge proof based digital system to secure private personal health information, allowing access to digitally redacted personal information. Excuse me, what? White paper on consumer health expenditures in the USA, white paper and or recommendations on neurotechnologies related to chronic degenerative diseases, white paper on neurotechnologies as weapons in national intelligence and defense, follow-up recommendations and or technical specifications. By the way, I don't like it whenever people like, you know, Bill Gates, Jeffrey Epstein, talking about neurotechnologies as weapons. Excuse me? Especially when they have deals with international retards. Technical specifications for strain pandemic simulation. Okay. What the fuck? How happy to do whatever else is helpful. Yeah, no shot they didn't have something to do with all of it. whether it be on purpose or it just kind of naturally came about and they knew it was going to happen, couldn't do anything about it, profited off of it. Where's my other bookmarks? Why are they not showing up? Maybe I have to do it like this. Yeah. What's this? I don't even remember what these are. The bottom of the Epstein rabbit hole.
Here's what's at the bottom of the Epstein rabbit hole.
Congratulations, you've made it to the bottom of the Epstein rabbit hole. Pay close attention. Jeffrey Epstein was on the board of directors for an organization called the Lifeboat Foundation.
Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah. I have that written down in my
He
notes.
was also on the board of directors for an organization called Teachers in Space.
Yep, I've got that written down. Teachers in Space. I'm going to look that up in a minute.
They actually exist. They have websites. They don't even try to hide what they're doing. The Lifeboat Foundation builds giant underground cities, okay? They openly advertise it, and for a fee and with an application letter, they might accept you to join their little society where they apparently have
Harry
whole
Potter.
cities underground. They also advertise being able to take the clients off-world in the event of a catastrophe.
That's insane.
And it's really interesting because Teachers in Space also talks about taking payloads off-world, which is all really weird, right? It gets even more interesting. You see, Donald Barr was the one who inducted Jeffrey Epstein with zero experience into the Dalton Institute, where he was a teacher. Donald Barr wrote a really interesting book called Relations in Space about an aristocratic elite trafficking children
about
into
that?
space. Are you following me here? What's even weirder is the district attorney that was supposed to prosecute Jeffrey Epstein and bring him to justice was literally William Barr, Donald Barr's son. Now, the Lifeboat Foundation is really interesting because in 1996, they pioneered wireless money transfers. They're the second organization in the world to ever do this. This is a decade or two before Bitcoin even was a concept, right? So you got an organization that is doing wireless money transfers that are untraceable, large sums of money, and they're building giant underground infrastructures. It gets even weirder. I found out through looking on archive.org that Lifeboat Foundation has a homeless youth outreach program. And they used to have a whole, station in Rhineland.
By the way, I think, going back to the Bitcoin thing, I think at the very, very top in all of this messy bullshit, I don't even think they're using real currency or, digital currency. I think they're using people. I think they're using people as currency.
Wisconsin, and a whole board of people. They're all out of the Rhinelander, Wisconsin area. And they had this meeting in 2017, a homelessness problem-solving meeting, right? So you have an organization that's interested in homeless youth, interested in wireless money transfers, and interested in underground infrastructure. I don't know if you guys heard about Sasha Riley, but he's telling the truth. He was trafficked by the Epstein elite. He was in snuff films that he survived, but he witnessed people get unalived. And what I'm telling you is it gets crazier. The reason why Epstein surrounded himself with a scientific elite is because he was doing human cloning and he was doing consciousness transferal and stuff like this. I swear to God, I know this gets crazy, but it's true. And what I'm telling you is he had celebrities down there. He had a cloning center down there. And I know.
And I think everybody knows everybody was involved. And anybody who isn't saying anything about it, I think 1,000% guilty.
Because I was in some of these films. They're on the dark web. I'm in films on the dark web, okay? And what they're going to try to say is it's all AI.
It's all AI is what they're going to try and say. That's why Epstein talks so much about AI. That's why so much AI is being pushed by all of these international organizations. They're all using AI. And they're going to try and rule us using AI. But really, it's going to be them ruling us, but they're going to make stupid people believe that the AI overlords are in control of everything. What do we got here? Yes. Zelensky has now been caught out in the Epstein files.
Zelensky has been caught in the Epstein files, and Epstein visited him multiple times. In emails between Epstein and a Rothschild family member, they discussed Ukraine. And in 2014, they talked about the upheaval in Ukraine when the US overthrew their government. And in February of 2019, Epstein stayed in the capital of Ukraine a month before Zelensky was elected. And this is Zelensky telling the
And it makes you wonder, why did the Democrats want so badly for Zelensky to be the president? Why did they want to be involved in the Ukraine so badly? All of these international investment firms, all of these people that were involved with the Trilateral Commission, why is it all connected? I wonder if it's just the synagogue of Satan.
Rothschild. By the way, I'm visiting Zelensky this Thursday, 3 months after Zelensky was elected. And here, this message to Epstein: we should go to Russia and meet my friend Ilya. He's a member of the parliament and the main organizer of the uprising against Putin. He might replace Putin and become president himself. Any ideas how to help him? Epstein visited Zelensky multiple times and was chatting with his friends on how to overthrow Putin in Russia. When Vladimir...
Yeah, this was planned. And Democrats fell for it. 1000%. Holy shit. Everything that we've been saying, everything that I've been saying, has been correct the whole fucking time.
Putin says that Russia is battling Satanism in Ukraine, you have to believe it.
Yep. And at this point, I like Putin 1000% more than any Democrat, any Hollywood celebrity. At this point, Russia might be a better country. We gotta fucking do something. Jim Carrey said this right after winning an award, and it makes sense now.
Kidnapping children is not what great nations do. We in America are misinformed. Reality shows have warped our idea of what a hero is, or what the truth is.
Dude, so based. An American trucker verifies the existence, this one's weird, of an extensive underground tunnel network stretching hundreds of miles, extending from Washington, D.C. to Maine and Colorado, along with a complete subterranean city. I'm going to ask Grok about this real quick. What do you got to say about this, Grok? This post shares a 2024 video of a clip of a truck driver claiming to have delivered supplies via a 100-mile underground tunnel to a hidden city in Maine, part of a network linking Washington, blah, 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 blah. This narrative aligns with decades-old conspiracy theories on deep underground. It's conspiracy theory? I believe it. Because all of them keep coming true, especially when I've seen so many videos like this, and I've heard so many people talk about this being real.
In 2013, a video was uploaded to YouTube of a trucker talking to a man about a massive underground secret city that was being built in the United States. They had to take this tunnel 100 miles in to reach this place. And apparently there were more of these tunnels. Check this out.
I've seen some of these places, by the way. There's a bunch of these places like this in Arkansas in the mountains where there's just roads that lead into the mountain, and they're checkpoints. You can't go in there. And it seems like they're military places, but I see trucks going there. So what is happening there?
All the way to Washington, D.C., huh? Goes all the way to Washington, D.C. Yeah, you security? Yeah. How far have you taken this down to, how far have you actually ran a load? 100 miles? Up to Maine? No shit. How many miles do you think that is? Man, that's unbelievable. Not to mention, I heard there's one that goes all the way to Colorado, right? Unbelievable. What do you think you're hauling? Any idea? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Craft makes all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it's craft.
I know there's been a lot of military stuff being hauled around lately, that's for sure, huh?
Yeah, we deliver to
Yeah, this guy wouldn't know.
Gotcha.
They wouldn't let the driver know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I heard there's water supply, food supply, everything's in there. Yeah, unbelievable.
You don't get no cell phone service.
No. Peace, brother.
There's just so much that we don't know. We don't know what's going on. We don't know who's doing it, who's behind what, how many people know. This is the most important email in the Epstein files. Jeffrey Epstein's shadowy boss threatens to kill his brother's family. Excuse me, what?
This is an email from the Tranche, confirmed. After Jeffrey Epstein died, his brother was threatened with someone saying, "I'll choke you like your brother." And they say, "Your brother's mistake was that he wanted to tell the court everything. The boss wants to meet you. He just wants to see if you know him or not." So this is the actual email, and we can pull it up from My Lord Bebo. And all of this is a little bit confusing because it's in backwards order, right? Because the way the email list is organized. But on Monday, May 25th, 2020, somebody who had an email address called like Kill Pudgy. So I guess Pudgy was the nickname of Epstein's brother. And so this anonymous person writes to Epstein's brother, quote, "Hey, Pudgy, you have two sources. You have two choices. Or tell the court you partnered with your brother, or we will kill your family like your brother." Okay? You have two choices. Either tell the court that you partnered with your brother, or we will kill your family like we killed your brother. Later that day, they send another one. "Hey, Pudgy, your boss, my boss, is a very kind person. He loved your brother. Your brother's mistake was that he wanted to tell the court everything.
Your boss, Satan.
The boss wants to meet you. He just wants to see if you know him or not. What's the boss's name?"
Satan.
Again, you want to talk about spycraft. You want to talk about James Bond type stuff.
It's worse.
This is what we're dealing with here.
No, this is spiritual.
Testing him for a code word. Do you even know who the boss is? Say the name of the boss as a testing, right? If you don't know the answer, the boss will be very upset. "You don't know my boss? It's true?" So I think what I'm seeing happen here is that like they're checking to see whether Epstein's brother was privy to some of the more sensitive information. And they're testing him, hoping that he's like, "I know who the boss is," so they'll kill him. I'm a little bit, unsophisticated, I think, the strategy here, but maybe it's not supposed to be sophisticated. It's just a...
Epstein says it in that interview with Bannon. He pretty much says it.
Death threat.
That's who he's afraid of.
So apparently the brother doesn't respond, and the next day he gets another email. "You don't know our boss's name, I'm sure. If you know him, tell us. He wants to meet you. Just because you don't answer doesn't mean you don't know your brother's killers. It's true. You know that if you tell the police something, we will kill your children.
How about
hey,
that?
Bitch, don't you want to answer? If you don't answer, I'll suffocate you like your brother." And then finally, the final email on the 26th of May. "You don't know us, I'm sure. You have beautiful children. F your children. Which one should I kill first? You know no one knows who we are. I want to kill them in such a way that no one can tell how they have died. We have documents that show you had a partnership with your brother.
These people are fucking deranged, dude. Holy shit.
I want to do something to see the death of your loved ones. We will kill one of your children in 72 hours. Stupid." Okay. So that was an email sent to Mark Epstein and his lawyer, Stacy Richman, from a anonymous account called pudgykiller@fastmail.com, sent to Epstein's brother a couple months after Epstein was killed. Now, like everything in this, I guess we have to suggest the fact this sounds pretty real. I mean, this sounds pretty messed up and real to me. It could be fake. It could be an anonymous person just trying to...
I don't know. Yeah, I doubt it. It does seem real. Just the way it's worded, the way it looks, the situation that we're in. It's too specific. I don't know. It seems like somebody was actually upset.
get one over on Epstein's brother, seeing if maybe get something going. But that would be a very ballsy thing to do. That would be a pretty ballsy thing to do if you're not actually involved in this. You'd have to be real confident of your skills as like a hacker or whatever to see that Jeffrey Epstein was just killed. And you're like, I know. I'll inject myself into this international spy drama with people apparently able to kill anybody they want without repercussion. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like the type of thing that somebody would do just for kicks. Exactly. It seems legit. And I think we can derive from this that there probably were bosses for Epstein. At least one. Who they are, I have my own ideas, but
I don't really know if there were really bosses. There were definitely people they were working for, and it probably changed a lot, and there's probably one guy at the very, very top who profits off of all of it, and it's most likely Satan.
But I think that's fairly clear. And I think that, to me, is one of the more important emails out of the whole thing. Not to say that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't pulling strings and, very high up in a number of really...
Yeah, he's not the only one, and he's not the biggest one.
A shockingly wide array of societal things. I mean, it really is wild.
Yeah, crazy, crazy times we're in, man. We might be in... we're either about to enter a dark age or a golden age, I think. The Epstein files broken down by an ex-FBI agent. This isn't transparency. It's a cover-up. Don't confuse access with justice.
Transparency. It's a cover-up, and here's how it works. They show you flight logs, emails, PG-rated photos, fragments of conversations that have been stripped of the meat. A few big names get thrown under the bus. It's just enough to feel disturbing, but never enough to prove anything about the real players. That's what you'll see in this massive document dump. What you won't see is context. You won't see corroboration, and you definitely won't see accountability.
I haven't seen anything that really gives proof of anything. I see a lot of crazy shit, but who knows what it is? No, we think they're emails. Who the fuck knows? All of this shit's so easy to fake, and it could be people pretending to be people. We don't even know.
Because that's not the point. This is a weaponized DOJ strategy of controlled confusion, and it's working perfectly. You see, they don't protect powerful people by erasing evidence. They protect them by releasing it slowly, by delaying...
The powerful people are way too powerful for these files to just have dropped like that.
Key documents, by over-redacting names, and by letting the...
Out of nowhere, after everybody's been getting angry for years that we keep getting nothing. And then out of nowhere, they drop millions. I ain't buying it.
Public fight over the scraps if we're not too distracted by the latest military invasion of a third world country or a major U.S. city. Chaos becomes their cover. The goal isn't to reveal the truth, it's to survive it. So read the files, but don't confuse access with justice, because sometimes the most effective cover-up is letting you see just enough.
And the people who are gonna survive after all of this, some will fall, but the ones who survive, they're gonna build from the ashes, and it might be worse and it might be better. We'll have to see. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano, I think that's how you pronounce that, who spoke out about child trafficking, stolen elections, and global elites, was summoned to the Vatican for excommunication and silenced. If the world knew what they hide, governments would collapse. Yeah, the Vatican controls a lot, and pretty much every country. And I remember I reacted to this guy before.
A few weeks ago,
I'm glad he has
an collaborator
closed
of Hillary
captions.
Clinton, John Podesta, was arrested for pedophilia and child pornography.
It's funny how he's talking about John Podesta, you know, the guy that was involved with all the Pizzagate drama.
referring to Slade Summer, a man with ties to the world of Broadway and cinema, who play a role in the effort to debunk the infamous Pizzagate affair.
Yep.
That is, the network, filthy complicity, and horrendous crimes
I call it the web of disgusting bullshit
against minors that revolves around the international deep state. We have learned that certainly Jeffrey Epstein and most likely Ghislaine Maxwell were members of the Israeli Mossad. This makes us understand that the famous trips of many well-known people to Epstein Island were used to blackmail them.
I hear so many stories about the Synagogue of Satan. Anybody know what that is? That is basically Jews pretending to be Jewish. And there are so many out there and that runs so deep. I hear so many stories for years. There's that classic Oprah episode where the girl goes on there and talks about the Synagogue of Satan, how she was a victim of it. And man, I really think they might be running Israel. And I think our government is all tied up in it. If you look at all the people who were involved with Israel throughout the years, it really, really seems like that Israel is being run by the Synagogue of Satan, and the United States is shaking hands directly with it.
Collecting evidence of their guilt in participating in heinous ritual crimes against minors. And if the heads of state and governance officials of the Western world do not dare to breathe out a word of protest against the massacres of civilians in Gaza Strip, it is legitimate to assume that this attitude is due to the intensive dossier with videos inculpating them that are in possession of the Israeli intelligence services. The same thing must be happening with the preparation of the fake pandemic emergency.
Dude, this guy is so based, and yeah, it talks about that in the Epstein files too.
Which was
everything that we've been saying just happened to pop up in the Epstein files. Either A, we're being gaslit hard, or B, this shit was true.
Obviously replicated in all the member states of the World Economic Forum and the United Nations, and also with the farce of the Ukrainian crisis. But this blackmail of the powerful of the world constituted the...
If you're paying attention, if you've been paying attention for years, you know all of these things that he's saying were true, because it's just pattern recognition. And it's just crazy that in these Epstein files that dropped, all of that gets confirmed. All of the people that we were saying were behind all of this end up being confirmed being behind all of it. And even if it's all bullshit, because there's a few things that are wrong, it's just a lot of it there. It's too coincidental for it to not be completely correct. What happened to the sound? Did it cut out? Oh, I guess it's over. What is this?
Adrenochrome.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Horrific. All you need is a blood transfusion from the pack and you reverse aging. Epstein files Barry Josephson. Adrenochrome, which is caused by torturing little kids to get their adrenaline up, essentially, and extracting it from them. Jim Caviezel. I love Jim Caviezel. He's the guy who played Jesus in the Passion of the Christ movie.
Adrenochrome. That's not true. It's C9.
He's also the Sound of Freedom guy.
H9NO3. This is a chemical compound that is absolutely, this has been around in modern science since the 1930s. You can actually, there's a synthetic form and there's a regular, natural form, which
I didn't even know there was synthetic one.
Torturing little kids to get their adrenaline up, essentially, and then extracting it from them. When you sit and meet, and so I brought this up a few years ago, and all of a sudden I was attacked by every media. Look it up. It's there. They absolutely went after me. And
that's how they do.
The next day.
At this point, if the legacy media goes after you, I am going to be on your side. I'm going to immediately assume that you are correct, that you are a good person.
I never heard from my agents, my agency for 14 months. My lawyers let me go. My agency never called me after that, and essentially I was done. Adrenochrome, that's not true. It's C9H9N.
Yep, all these people are fucking evil, dude. And that's why you're never going to see people like Jim Caviezel in Hollywood, really. Because they've basically kicked out all the good people. Which makes me think that some of the people that people think are good that are still in Hollywood probably are not that great. Trump exposed Epstein Island already back in 2015. Yeah, he already knew about it, and look where we are. A decade later, nothing really has been done about it. I mean, we got some files, some shit was confirmed, but there's nothing actually being done. We just know the information now. Well, we kind of do. We have a lot of the information, a lot more than we did have.
Bill Clinton. Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
Epstein, in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it.
Yeah. He knew before everybody else did.
The island was an absolute cesspool. So,
the Clintons are friends
and he's
of
been
yours,
there
right?
for many times.
The Clintons are friends.
Well, I can't say friends, but I know
You're
them.
friendly. You know them.
They play at my clubs a lot. I have clubs, and everybody likes to play at my clubs.
Are you saying there's a political problem for her if she runs for president?
It could be a political problem.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah, so that was before Hillary Clinton ran for president. That was in 2015. Holy shit. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Everybody was in on it. Even Trump right there. He knew. He still worked with all these people. Kamala's California DOJ targeted investigative reporter over Planned Parenthood and trafficking human body parts.
2016. This is an idyllic Southern California spring day. As I'm walking out to take the kitchen garbage out, I turn around the corner and pass a big white windowless van. All of a sudden the door swings open and this tall uniformed guy steps out and he has a piece of paper in his hands and he says, "Are you David Daleiden?" And he says, "I'm with the California Department of Justice. We have a search warrant for your home." And he hands me the warrant. And I think to myself, oh gosh, you know, what's going to happen next? So about 5 or 6 California DOJ agents started stomping through my apartment. The other 5 of them standing on the lawn outside. Some of them were armed with AR-15s. Some of
This isn't just Kamala's DOJ. This is Biden's DOJ, the Democrats' DOJ. I think this was before she was the vice president.
Them had canine dogs with them. They had come for me. In 2013, I began and orchestrated an almost 3-year-long, very in-depth, comprehensive investigative journalism study about the harvesting and trafficking of body parts from late-term abortions.
Fuck yeah, dude. What a fucking hero.
There's multiple violations and multiple issues that you very quickly start to learn about when you look into it. There's the basic problem of selling body parts, where you're basically creating a system, creating transactions, creating business relationships that incentivize the objectification and the destruction of human beings in order to keep the business going. So for about 30 months, we went undercover with the explicit purpose of partnering with some of the biggest Planned Parenthood abortion clinics in the...
Just saying, Alex Jones was right about everything. Makes me think second thoughts about Sandy Hook.
...the country to send their technicians in, harvest body parts from the abortions that were being done that day, and then package up the parts and ship them off to different customers all around the country, sometimes around the world. In July of 2015, we began to release the Undercover video series. I had been hoping that this was something that would, that would maybe generate 100,000 views or something. Instead, what happened was even bigger than I could have imagined. Within less than a week, we had close to 3 million views on YouTube of the first video, and multiple congressional committees announcing that they were launching federal investigations of Planned Parenthood's involvement.
Yeah, and how'd that go? Even more Planned Parenthoods popped up over the years.
In fetal trafficking and fetal experimentation. The truth got out there. And the words of Planned Parenthood's own leadership describing their organization's participation in these activities went viral and was being publicized for the whole world to see. Looking back on it from the information that we know now, I now know what was going on was that Kamala Harris, at the explicit instruction of Planned Parenthood, had targeted me, and me alone, among all undercover video news gatherers in the state of California.
It's probably because they were using those aborted babies for satanic rituals and adrenochrome.
To enforce the California video recording law against me and to punish me for speaking the truth about her powerful campaign donors at Planned Parenthood. What we've come to learn in the years since, just 2 weeks
also stem cells
before serving the search warrant on my home, Kamala Harris had a secret meeting in Los Angeles with several top-level executives of Planned Parenthood in California. We then found out from the California DOJ investigator reports that Planned Parenthood's top lawyer in California had specifically instructed the California DOJ agents that Planned Parenthood wanted the video equipment and the computers that I was using to publish the videos to be seized, in order to shut me up, in order to prevent me from continuing to publish the truth about Planned Parenthood's involvement in fetal trafficking, and in order to punish me for speaking out with a message that was disfavored by Planned Parenthood and by Kamala Harris in the state of California. I think what people have to understand about organizations like Planned Parenthood and about their political...
They're run by Satanists?
...backers like Kamala Harris is that they're shameless. And they will do whatever they have to do in order to promote their agenda. They'll say whatever they have to say, and they are...
That's what I think happened with Epstein, by the way. I think Epstein didn't really want to do all the things that he was doing. I think he was just trying to meet his goals, get done what he wanted to get done, And the way he went about things was the way to do it. The ends justify the means. Except, I'm pretty sure he was literally working for the devil. Look it up. Like, the evidence shows it. The way he speaks about the devil, it really seems like that's who his boss was.
Not afraid to use every bit of power at their disposal to force their agenda through. Kamala Harris is the single greatest threat to First Amendment civil liberties that our country has ever seen. If Kamala Harris is elected to be a heartbeat away from the highest office in the United States of America, you will have someone in the White House who has a radical contempt and disrespect for First Amendment civil liberties, someone who believes that she's entitled to use the powers of her office in order to punish the viewpoints of citizens who disagree with her.
And that's what they do. I think that's it. Was that the last one? Yep. So, I'm going to look up the Lifeboat Foundation and see what all of that's about. Lifeboat Foundation, they have a fucking website, dude. Discuss your ideas for our programs and other suggestions for the Lifeboat Foundation. Go to the About section. Mission statement. The Lifeboat Foundation is a non-profit, non-governmental organization, NGO in other words, dedicated to encouraging scientific advancements while helping humanity serve existential risks and possible misuse of increasingly powerful technologies, including genetic engineering, nanotechnology, and robotics AI as we move towards the singularity. By the way, Epstein was involved with this Lifeboat Foundation, apparently. So a lot of people were. Bill Gates, pursuing a variety of options, including helping to accelerate the development of technology to prevent humanity against humanity, such as new methods to combat viruses, effective technological defensive strategies, and even self-sustaining space colonies in case the other defensive strategies fail. And the people behind all of this are the ones that are creating the problems. We believe that in some situations, it might be feasible to relinquish technological capacity in the public interest. For example, we are against the U.S. government posting the recipe for the 1918 flu virus on the internet. What? We have some of the, like, why wouldn't we do that? Why would we not do that? I mean, I get it, but like, fuck you. You don't get to keep the information. That's what that reads to me right there. It's like, oh, we need to keep technology away from the people because they'll misuse it. We're the ones who use it correctly. What the fuck, dude? We invite you to join our cause. No thanks. I kind of want to join just to see what I get. They got books, Lifeboat Foundation books. In Visions of the Future, you'll find stories and essays about artificial intelligence, androids, faster than light travel, and the extension of human life. You'll read about the future of human institutions and culture, but these literary works are more than just a reprisal of the classical elements of science fiction and futurism. At their core, each of these pieces has one consistent repeated theme: us. That sounds dystopian as fuck. It sounds like you wrote dystopian guides on how to survive the dystopia that you people fucking created. The New York Times, of course. The New York Times says the Lifeboat Foundation is a nonprofit that seeks to protect people from some seriously, like, it's all the same people. All these people are connected. New York Times is one of these people. Seriously catastrophic technology-related events. It funds research that would prevent a situation where technology has run amok, sort of like a pre-fringe unit. Except they're going to end up starting the catastrophe that they're going to use all of this stuff for to take us over. What else we got here? Popular Science. U.S. naval operations. I don't trust any of this shit. Life shield bunkers. What is that? What is this? This is existential risk programs. AI shield. Info preserver. Life shield bunkers. Security preserver. Asteroid shield. Internet shield. What is internet shield? Nano shield. Space habitats. Bio shield. Life preserver. Scientific freedom shield. Bio preserver. Energy preserver. Particle accelerator shield. Climate shield. Neuroethics shield. Personality preserver. Com preserver. Nuclear shield. Seed preserver. Alien shield. Antimatter shield. Black hole shield. Gamma ray shield. Sun shield. What is all of this? Nick Bostrom, our approach to existential risk cannot be one of trial and error. There is no opportunity to learn from. Then what the fuck? Then what are we doing here? The people that are running this are literally the people doing trial and error. The reactive approach, see what happens, limit damages, and learn from experience, is unworkable. Rather, we must take a proactive approach. Yeah, have it all set up so we can set up the catastrophe perfectly. This requires foresight to anticipate new types of threats and a willingness to take decisive preventive action and to bear the costs, moral and economic, of such actions. What do you mean? Bear the costs, moral and economic. So are you saying that we're going to have to use war and famine and trickery and evil in order to get these goals started? I don't know who this is. Ray Kurzweil. We cannot rely on trial and error. This person's saying the same thing. Trial and error approaches deal with existential risks. We need to vastly increase our investment in developing specific defensive technologies. We are at the critical stage today for biotechnology, and we will reach a stage where we need to directly implement defensive technologies for nanotechnology during the late teen years of this century. A self-replicating pathogen, whether biological or nanotechnology-based, could destroy our civilization in a matter of days or weeks. By what I'm seeing from everything, it might need to be destroyed. Yeah, that's a bunch of craziness. Now, what about these Lifeboat Foundation Life Shield bunkers? And, by Philip Van Nederveld, Brian Wang, Willard Wells, and other members of Lifeboat Foundation Scientific Advisory Board. This is an ongoing program, so you may submit suggestions to programs@lifeboat.com. What is this video here?
Join our survival colonies. Secure your future in our state-of-the-art underground bunkers. Join our
Yeah, it's definitely AI, but still, this is what they're trying to build. Are they already building stuff like this? Our Life Shield Bunkers program is a complement to our Space Habitats program. It is a fallback position in case programs such as our BioShield and NanoShield fail globally or locally. A bunker can be quite large, such as Biosphere 2. A large bunker would be a place where babies are born and children play and go to school. Wow, this sounds like vaults. This sounds like Fallout. Improving homes and offices. Life Shield bunkers can be extended to include making homes and offices into survivable structures with zero or limited aesthetic compromises. This will enable civil defense to work with our day-to-day lives. If our homes and offices are our blast shelters, then 80% or more of the time we will have some protection against possible disasters. If you only had an old-style bomb shelter... Are the bombs going to fall at 2076? Is that the road that we're headed toward? If you only had an old-style bomb shelter in your backyard, then it's not likely you would be in it when things hit the fan. Our goal is to design society to shrink the radius of fatalities around a nuclear explosion or other disaster and reduce the percentage of dead. Simple steps to dramatically reduce deaths from nuclear weapons, hurricanes, and earthquakes include: require a retrofit of all old houses and new houses to use Hurricane or better nails. Distribute new anti-radiation drugs widely. Use radiation resistance increasing gene therapy and drugs. Okay. Use retrofit with cellulose, not nanopaper, stronger than cast iron for construction. Use stronger cement. Use carbon nanotube graphene reinforcement. Add hydrogen for radiation blocking. Use stronger windows and doors. Find better fire thermal resistance modifications. Yeah, this is just vault tech. Many small nuclear reactors would enable a more robust electrical grid. Like, this is legitimately just vault tech. What the fuck is this? It's run by world leaders. And it's talking about literally making vaults to survive nuclear blasts. And they're doing it, by the way. People are funding this. In the event of very rare incidents, recall that we should have radiation resistance enhancing treatments and super effective anti-radiation drugs. Spend more money to harden the structure. Like, is this a fucking joke? It's real. But is it a joke? Is this a cover-up for something? Is this like fraud? Is this some kind of money laundering scheme? Because this is too on the nose. Spend more money to harden the structure of hospitals and other places that are critical to enable civilization to survive a nuclear attack or other disaster. 10 to 50 times reduction in fatalities is very doable, even without the tech getting too fancy. 1,000 plus times reduction is doable with better but achievable technology, which we will need because that same category of technology will also boost offense. offense, whatever. Nano factories. What is a nano factory? Could make a lot of nukes. So it is a good thing that they would also help bring us protection against nukes as well. That sounds dystopian. Like, I can imagine you're using nano robots that are basically 3D printing nuclear bombs. Oh, okay. Run by AI, I presume. So it is a good thing that they would also help bring us protection against nukes as well. That's fucking crazy. Acquisition candidates. Titan nuclear missile base for sale. ICBMs not included. What? Yeah, I'm definitely looking at that. Let us know if you wish to participate in a local Life Shield bunker. And here's the application. Here's the Vault-Tec application right here in front of my face. No shot that I'm getting in. Okay, what is this? Space habitats. Oh boy. What do these space habitats look like? Oh, I can't watch it. No, I can't. I just got to give it a second. They don't even know what they're going to look like. But if this is what they think it's going to look like, that's insane. Overview. But the fact that they're using these AI videos and they're not very good and they're obviously AI and they look like they generated one good one and they were like, yep, that's it. We'll just use that. Makes me kind of think that this is some kind of weird scheme and weird money laundering or some kind. I don't know. Overview. Establishing self-sufficient space habitats will serve as a backup plan for human civilization. A number of key milestones need to be reached before the long-term development of space is feasible. However, improved access to space will catalyze the establishment of such habitats by allowing more frequent and less expensive flights beyond the atmosphere. Innovative non-rocket methods of reaching orbit will enable more substantial progress in space. Artificial ecosystems will need to be made as independent as possible to minimize the need for new resources. Better management of and access to resources from non-terrestrial bodies will allow astronauts to get the most out of what they do have. Finally, further countermeasures against the effects of space on health will be required to sustain human life in space. And this is why I think that we actually can't survive in space. At least right now, we definitely can't. Sure, I agree that we should maybe work toward that, but I don't think it's happening right now. And I just think this is all bullshit. The Lifeboat Foundation has begun design on ARC-1, a self-sustaining space habitat. We support the efforts by SpaceX and others to make access to space more affordable. Likewise, we support the efforts of Bigelow Aerospace and others to develop habitable environments in space. So this is like a competitor with SpaceX. How have I never heard of this? And why are there so many people tied into it, such as Jeffrey Epstein? Where was I? Okay. Improved access to space. After more than 50 years of development, launch vehicles, rockets that reach space, still have severe limitations in what they can get into space. It appears extraordinarily difficult to increase the dimensions of a rocket's payload volume, which restricts payload to a certain size. For this reason, space structures have been built by assembling separate, smaller modules. Inflatable modules may increase this upper limit on module size, but fundamental limitations will always exist with launch vehicle technology. Furthermore, the high cost of rocket launches prohibits all but large corporations, governmental agencies, and the wealthiest of tourists from reaching low Earth orbit. Yeah, that's my point exactly. With all of this, if this is actually a thing that is really getting built, this is for all of the pedophiles. This is all for the elite pedophiles. Not for you, not for me. Improvements in the economics of launch vehicles can reduce the cost of accessing space in the short term, but radical non-rocket space launch technologies will be required in the long term. Many such ideas have been proposed, but it's difficult to meaningfully compare them and get a sense of what's actually on the technology horizon. The best way to quantitatively, yeah, I said it right, assess these technologies is by using technology readiness levels, TRLs. I remember that from MTV. I can't talk tonight. I guess I'm reading too fast. TRLs are used by NASA, the United States military, and many other agencies and companies worldwide. Typically, there are 9 levels, ranging from speculations. There are 9 levels of hell, too, ain't there? Ranging from speculations on basic principles to full flight tested status. The system NASA uses can be summed up as follows. TRL 1, basic principles observed and reported. TRL 2, technology concept and or application formulated. TRL 3, analytical and experimental critical function and or characteristic proof of concept. TRL 4, component and or breadboard, I don't know what that means, validation in laboratory environment, component and or breadboard validation in relevant environment. TRL 6, system, subsystem, module or model or prototype demonstration in a relevant environment, ground or space. TRL 7, system prototype demonstration in a space environment. Actual system completed and flight qualified through test demonstration. Actual system flight proven through successful mission operations. Below is a survey of existing ideas for reaching space without relying on rockets. Okay. So we got a space gun, space plane. That's probably the most viable. What is a mass driver? That's like a train that goes to space. Space elevator. That one's kind of obvious. Tether systems. What is that? Oh, propulsion. That's where it's kind of like Spy Kids, where it just like throws you and something else grabs you. Okay. Flow of resources. I kind of don't want to look through all this. Health challenges. There's a whole lot of health challenges. Like, dude, yeah, just look up lifeboat.com if you want to read all of this. It's craziness. What is this? BioShield. We have an existential threat now in the form of the possibility of a bioengineered malevolent biological virus. With all the talk of bioterrorism, the possibility of a bioengineered bioterrorism agent gets little and inadequate attention. So this is like, this company seems like it is every evil company you could think of from every evil sci-fi dystopian model. And this is the umbrella branch right here that we're talking about. Yeah. Well, where does it talk about? Here's technologies to combat viruses. What are they going to do? Research on viruses by testing on the viruses. Also, further strategies for battling viral are being developed by biotech and pharma companies, such as research programs focusing on the use of decoy oligonucleotides. Don't know what that means. Aptamers and other small molecules such as peptides and glycopeptides to inhibit viral fusion with human cell membranes or function. Excuse me? That sounds like Resident Evil. This sounds like Resident Evil. Development of rapid detection and identification technology. Technologies such as these are being developed based on electrostatic interactions with unmodified gold nanoparticles, silicone transistors, also described in DNA detection made easy, or DNA pairing with a single strand DNA tethered to an enzyme. So they're talking about genetic manipulation, which becomes activated upon binding to the complementary strand. Development of smart materials such as antiviral surface coatings that are being tested for use in face masks and other applications. Ooh, what? Yeah, I don't want them anywhere near my face or anything that they're making for my face or breathing. Further advances in sequencing technologies, ultimately reaching a target of full virus sequencing within hours. As mentioned, identification of the virus used for the development of a vaccine or other treatment for an unknown virus necessitates the rapid sequencing of its entire DNA or RNA genome. Sequencing technology is in widespread use and is constantly decreasing in cost per segment sequence as well as in the time taken for the sequencing. The relevant outcomes of development in this field will reduce sample preparation time as well as expand the diversity of materials useful for isolation of viruses to be sequenced. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not be isolating viruses to be sequenced. Let's not be modifying viruses please. That sounds like a terrible idea. As faster sequencing times and better sequence assembly software are constantly being developed, the need for these measures to be specifically undertaken is of lesser importance. Examples for emerging rapid sequencing technology include nanopore-based sequencing. I'm going to have to look at that too. Sequencing based on nanoscale electronic and photonic effects. Sequencing performed using microarray-based fluorescently tagged polymerase and nucleotides. See, they name shit like this so regular people don't know what the fuck they're talking about or what the fuck they're doing. And they just see that and they're like, that sounds real sciencey. And I don't know nothing about sciencey stuff. Software-based treatment design, a longer-term and expensive, though ultimately valuable avenue of research. Isn't that how Umbrella got their start? They were just doing it with software, and then they went to Africa, and they got that flower, which would be useful in a variety of medicinal applications, would be the development of a comprehensive software system able to analyze the genetic makeup of a virus, as well as the proteins it expresses, its proteome. I've heard that. Which could provide specific epitopic or conformational targets to interfere with the production, processing, and function of these molecules. And then what if the model is wrong? What if something gets in the way and you don't know that it shouldn't be there, like a dust particle or something, and it just completely changes everything, and you accidentally start fucking Resident Evil Apocalypse? The initial identification of viruses' susceptibilities would help determine the most likely effective antiviral treatments based on DNA, RNA, or protein-based interference strategies. Software-based strategies should also allow the identification of the optimal protein sequences to be used as a vaccine and be able to accelerate the good guys' response in the arms race as further bioengineered malicious pathogens are developed. Also, how you gonna know it's gonna work on people? You're gonna have to test it on somebody. You're gonna have to test it on somebody, something. We need to develop a universal flu vaccine which would protect against all or most strains of influenza. We support Bill Gates. Of course you do. We support Bill Gates' $12 million universal influenza vaccine development grand strategy challenge, whatever. In partnership with the family of Google Inc. co-founder Larry Page to accelerate the development of a universal flu vaccine. You don't know how deep this fucking runs. You don't know how deep it does. You do, but then you keep reading more into it, and it just blows your fucking mind how deep it is. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah. All right. What is this? What is decoy oligonucleotides? Cells can. This is a lot. This is a lot. Just tell me what it is. I don't care. You can look that one up. San Diego's mobile health units deliver care and bring cutting-edge research to local communities. Okay. Take a tour of UC San Diego's New Good Manufacturing Practices Facility. New Good Manufacturing Practices Facility. Okay. Yeah, you got to tell me outright that's what that is. That makes me not believe you, especially where I just clicked this from. I already read BioShield. No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. That's what I just read. Okay, what is this? NanoShield. This like Dyson Sphere territory? Or like Destroy All Humans Path of the Furon? Or that episode of Invader Zim where they stole the planet, they encased it with like a weird shield thing. The most immediate danger facing life on Earth is probably that posed by biological weapons and emergent disease. The Lifeboat Foundation BioShield proposal, described by Lemelson MIT Prize winner Ray Kurzweil. Oh, okay. That was the dude that had that quote a minute ago. And U.S. Senate Majority Leader Bill Frist. Okay, yep. U.S. Senate Majority Leader Bill Frist. Is our recommended response to this danger. The BioShield proposal emphasizes the development of technologies to combat bioweapons such as biological viruses, by developing broad tools to prevent their development and to destroy them. However, tomorrow's biggest danger is nanoweapons, and we believe it is now time to develop a solution to this problem. Bigger nanoweapons! Kurzweil said. As the threshold for self-organizing technology approaches, we will then need to invest specifically in the development of defensive technologies in that area, including the creation of a technological immune system. What are you talking about? No. How about no? How about we just stop with all of the nanotechnology stuff? There are two types of nanoweapons. Self-replicating weapons. What the fuck? E.g., ecophages that make copies of themselves. Their only means of attack may be to eat the enemy or his resources as they self-replicate. Non-replicating nanoweapons, similar to the tools of war today that are manufactured in a factory and then used in battle. The nanoshield proposal has been designed primarily to handle self-replicating weapons, but it will also be an excellent first line of defense against non-replicating weapons. Non-replicating weapons are more difficult to defend against since they don't need to spend a lot of time and effort in replicating. They are also easier to design since they do not have to include instructions on how to replicate. So what is this? The first assembler is created to convert organic matter into materials. The assembler is programmed to create new units identical to itself. Each new unit follows the same programming instruction to consume and multiply. Holy shit, dude. They could turn a city into a desert, into like dust in, I don't know, seconds probably. If we let this get out of hand, the manufacturing rate becomes exponential, producing greater and greater numbers of assemblers. They'll take over the whole fucking universe. Like, we're going to have to be careful with this one. Eventually, the assemblers would strip the Earth of all organic matter, leaving only nano machines behind. Yeah, and it's going to extend beyond Earth, probably. Background. One of the earliest recognized and best known dangers of molecular nanotechnology is the risk that artificial nanotech replicators capable of digesting biological materials and functioning autonomously in the natural environment could quickly convert the entire global ecosystem into more copies of themselves. This is a scenario often referred to as a gray goo, but more accurately termed global ecophagy, a term coined by Robert A. Freitas Jr. Such replicators, called ecophages, would constitute a class of sophisticated artificial life forms more lethal than any plague that has ever existed on this planet. Yeah, 1000%. It's going to eat the world. If they are ever built and released, ecophages will need to be controlled by a sophisticated artificial immune system more powerful than any immune system that has appeared in natural biology. The human body has not evolved any natural immunity against mechanical replicators. We must invent this immunity ourselves. The human immune system does not have to recognize dangerous invaders the way a nanotech system would. Our immune system merely has to recognize non-invaders and attack everything else. Another important distinction is that biological immune cells and the invaders that they must combat will both replicate at biological speeds and energy levels. In contrast, a contest of exponentially growing numbers of nanotech devices would cook the biosphere in waste heat, especially if a large number of novel replicating nano devices were released simultaneously, and if a different type of defensive device were needed to stop each of them. Dude, there's going to be so many things going on all at once. Especially like we hit World War 4 or 5 or 6. There are just going to be so many of these crazy sci-fi weapons going on all at once. It's going to happen so fast. I think we're cooked. I think we're absolutely cooked. I'm not reading through all of this. But it's crazy. They got so much here. Productive nanosystems, from molecules to super products. Whoa. They're talking about building super products. Security preserver proposal. We're going to be getting the Saiyan Scouters. First line of nano weapons. Dude, they got everything here. I need to do a deeper dive. Biosphere 2. The University of Arizona. Dude, isn't there like so much fraud going through Arizona? The University of Arizona? And it's like one of the most woke universities. What's going on here? They got this program going on? No shot. Hurricane nail was a construction nail designed by... Okay, that's what that is. By Bostitch. That wasn't nothing. Titan nuclear missile base for sale. On Gizmodo. If you have $1.5 million spare change... Why can't I view this? Hold on. There we go. If you have $1.5 million spare change, you can buy this Titan 1 nuclear missile base on eBay today, located in central Washington. The 57-acre Larson Air Force Base Titan ICBM Launching Complex 1A, complete with 16 underground buildings, including 3 160-feet missile silos, is ready for your post-Cold War Jack Bauer-induced delusional paranoia, war games, reenactments, and family protection against drone wars. Nah, they got these kind of places doing these weird underground rituals and shit. And they're totally just like, hey, somebody should buy this so we can have rituals here. By Jesus Diaz. Okay. Published September 25th, 2007. Is this still for sale? This is an old article. Why did it link to this? Why did it link to this old article from Gizmodo? That's crazy. The purchase conditions are $300,000 down payment, a 7% interest payments in 3 years. Skip the middleman. Step right up, folks. Step right up. In case you missed this one, don't worry. There are more for sale here, along with more photos and plenty of information about these dead Cold War giants. I'm going to definitely check that out. SiloWorld.com. I'm not a robot. I clicked allow. What is this? I'm not a robot. There's no allow button. What is with this? Why is this here? How about I copy the link address and I open it up in Mozilla? Maybe. Oh, I don't have Mozilla. How about I open it up in Libre? It's not letting me. It's not letting me do it. Somebody please, somebody check this website out. SiloWorld.com. Because I apparently can't look at it. Because I have ad blockers and I'm not going to install something that's going to push through ads. Because I don't know what it's going to do. I don't want them to track me. So we're going to get off all of that. We'll go back to X, see what's been going on. I don't know. I haven't been checking. What happened here? Ice Poseidon and Action Man are screwed.
And when we got there, we gave them the passport, showed them the tickets, and they said that we're under investigation because of somebody breaking some kind of Antarctica Act or something.
Can't do that.
They took our passports.
Why don't you go say who it was, Paul?
Well, I'm just telling them what they said to us. And then obviously we just put two and two together.
I'm gonna jump through this fucking chair and table and tackle you.
All right, so I'm sure Nerdballer and Vagabond will have a fun time when they get back.
Whose amazing idea was it to let Ice Poseidon and his crew go to like an international military place. Yeah, I think that's held by the international like militaries. I don't think anybody really owns it. Is that true? Why would you let this guy of all people go there? Also, I know a lot of crazy people that go there. I don't know why any of them are even allowed. I think they should be, but like, holy shit, what are we doing? I want to go.
Nick Lee, they took your passport also?
Because we're all on the same booking for this current trip.
They took your passport
I don't know,
too.
dude. Her blocking me on Instagram makes me believe it's real.
Because Nate hasn't even been on a ship before.
They took Nate's fucking...
Dude, yes.
They took
an expert at getting his passport taken. I have no idea how it happens all the time.
Oh my god. Alright, so you guys are... So, this is what... So, you guys are under investigation for whatever, apparently. And they took your passports.
They think we're all like... we all planned something together to do some weird shit in Antarctica.
They probably think you're just degenerates and are just like, why the fuck are these guys so stupid? And whose idea was it to let these idiots come here? And they're probably trying to figure out a way to not let idiots come there anymore.
I mean, I tried to show them the fucking permit that I have. But since he didn't have a permit, I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know. I mean, we don't really have that much information. Just told you exactly what they said to us.
That's what happens whenever you deal with areas that are not the United States. They don't give you any information, and even the United States doesn't give you any information. More than others, though, I guess.
Alright.
I wonder who they went through.
Right.
Probably Brazil.
So...
That's where I keep hearing people go through. Brazil, Argentina. What else we got?
Wait, you mean transgenderism was an evil psyop the whole time?
What?
From Robert Trivers, renowned evolutionary biologist who studied sexual selection in populations of animals, to Jeffrey Epstein, subject trans. We are now pushing the intervention earlier, so you notice your 3-year-old son has trans tendencies.
Dude, so you're telling me the thing that we thought the whole time is actually true? Holy shit. Not another one. I'm tired of the conspiracy theories and all of the things that we've been saying to be true coming true. I'm tired of the W's. Well, really, it's all L's because we're right about everything being fucked up.
So now you intervene with hormones. Notice this, ready? I would be frightened to do so, but who knows? In other words, I wouldn't do it to my kid, but let's push it on their kids. Why would they do that? Oh, to help people? No, to increasingly produce novel phenotypes, more feminine men, by blocking testosterone receptors or through castration. The purpose of which is to create degenerate sexual fantasies, which promote prostitution and pornography and keep people paying for the injections, which are costly. This was never about medicine. It was promoting satanic, destructive, antenatal social patterns that these people can subvert and make money off of, while destroying your children's lives and your nation because they hate you and they think of you like cattle.
And I think they might be right when they say that they think of everybody like cattle, because people like me have been saying this shit their entire lives. I've been saying this shit my whole life. Pretty much as soon as I started paying attention to shit when I was a teenager, I've been saying, hey, all this is fucked up. Seems like there's a bunch of evil shit controlling everything. What is going on in the world? Why does everything seem like it's getting worse? Why does everything seem like it's all connected? What is with Hollywood? What's with all of the terrible cartoons that are teaching kids to be annoying degenerates? What is with all of it? What is with Disney cartoons having subliminal messaging? And that's what I was thinking when I was a teenager. Fucked up, man. Fucked up. What is this? Kathy O'Brien's human hunting video finally hits TikTok.
This most dangerous game, as they referred to it, was a matter of human hunting. And when a mind control slave such as myself was stripped of clothes and turned loose in the woods, I was then hunted by George Bush, Dick Cheney, and Bill Clinton, among others. But they were the main ones. I do not believe that it was necessary for them to have subjected me to this form of trauma. There were so many other traumas going on at the time. My mind was already prime conditioned for mind control program. So I really don't understand it, except for the fact that they found great pleasure.
Usually, I would think these people are crazy. And there might be a hint of truth in there, maybe. Now, I think they're completely correct. I think they're telling the truth. I don't put anything beside these people anymore. Like that, like, it's so evil, man. They're doing the most evil things that you can think of.
Pleasure in this form of human hunting, and they took it from.
I've been hearing whispers of this being real, and then this pops up into my timeline. X knows what's up.
Particular military maneuvers. And
Which base we're talking about when you was recalling the situation when Clinton was president and Mr. Bush? Which airspace?
There's a little place called Lampe, Missouri, that's just across the Arkansas line. Bill Clinton was governor of Arkansas at that time, and his whole corporation that.
Wait, where at?
The Arkansas line. Bill Clinton, a little place called Lampe, Missouri, that's just across the Arkansas line. Bill Clinton was governor of Arkansas at that time, and
because I know the Arkansas Missouri line.
His whole corporation that was. Mena, Arkansas was the main hub for, was bringing cocaine into this CIA compound.
That's true. That's fucking true. What she just said. Cocaine cowboys, look it up. What she just said is true. That makes me think this is true. Because, like, this is so old. This was before the cocaine cowboy shit came out.
And this particular Swiss villa, as they called it, amphitheater, in Lampe, Missouri, was actually a CIA compound out in the woods, military fencing all around it, and
there's so much weird military shit going on in the woods in Arkansas and in Missouri, in the Ozarks, because there's so many places to hide in the mountains.
Mind control training center where there was high-tech equipment was in one building. There were offices in another. There were little Swiss-style villas or cabins where different officials in either the military.
What is this? Oh, Kathy O'Brien, transformation of America is not fake. They did such messed up stuff to her. Yeah, I don't know nothing about this.
CIA or politics would stay, and it would house them while they were there for either the cocaine activities, for the paramilitary operations that were going on. You know, there were black helicopters everywhere, total robotic guys that were being used in special forces.
Which special forces you're referring to? There was also another program, Mind Control, by Delta Force,
yes.
right? Can you describe, what is your knowledge? Do you have any knowledge of that, or you met these people, and can you describe me some more of this?
The Delta Force and the Navy SEALs are an elite part of the military that is mind controlled, like the mercenaries. I'm more familiar with the mercenaries that were being trained to carry out international operations that weren't necessarily sanctioned by Congress. And
which has come out that we use them all the fucking time. We use mercs all the fucking time. Like Blackwater and other groups. Blackwater is just the most famous one, I think.
And they were brought into other countries, such as South America, and to carry out their orders. When in a country like that, the airplanes would then come back with the drugs, and it was then sold on the streets here in America and really worldwide. The CIA's so-called war on drugs was nothing more than the CIA eliminating their competition and taking over the drug industry. So it was all inter-attached. It all interworked. At this particular compound in Lampe, Missouri, the paramilitary operations there were for more of the UN aspect. They didn't wear UN uniforms. They wore black uniforms, had black helicopters, and this was for implementing the New World Order and didn't really have anything to do with our actual military defense.
Yeah, it very rarely actually has to do with defense. We are straight up just using the military to make a bunch of billionaire pedophiles a whole lot of money. That was a crazy video. Holy shit.
All these babies, nobody knows what happened to any of these babies. But there's the George Bush eating the... There's actually... So are you telling me that there is a possibility that there is a satanic pedophile elite that's raping young girls, forcing them to give birth, and then taking the babies, and then sacrificing and eating the babies?
Yep.
Like...
Alex Jones was right. We were right. I was right all along. My entire life, I've been saying that shit like this was going on. People called me crazy. Who's crazy now? All the people who didn't listen to people like me. Because all of the signs were there. And all signs pointed to, yes, this shit's fucked up. Uh-oh. Nick Fuentes, my application for Kick Partnership Program was approved on Wednesday. By today, Monday, Kick terminated my account from their partnership program for no reason with no explanation. I average 35 to 40K per night, which would make me one of the top streamers on Kick. So he got kicked out of Kick. That's crazy. That was fast. That was very fast. Okay, what is this? You are in a propaganda war. Still don't believe me? Give me less than 10 minutes. Okay, I'll give you 7.5 minutes.
Now listen, I'm about to waterboard you with this. If you do not believe you're in the middle of a propaganda war, I love you, and you can be as mad at me as you want. You're wrong. Okay? So listen, I'm going to rapid fire these. Here we go. Right here, number one. No, this is not a picture of an 8-year-old girl who died in ICE custody under the Trump administration's heartless dictatorship. It happened in 2023 as reported by the New York Times under the Biden administration. But now it's getting millions of views and being labeled as happening now.
How about that?
Number two, no, this is not a photo of a 5-year-old put in a cage because of the current administration calls people illegal. Nope. Snopes reports after millions of views, it was discovered that was a photo taken at a protest staged in front of Dallas City Hall.
They never push these stories, though. Whenever they're like, oops, sorry, actually, this was a mistake. Here's the real story. They never push those. So people just go on thinking the first thing that they read was actually the real story because they hide the things where they pretend to take accountability. And then when people call them out, they're like, nuh-uh, see, we made this article.
The parents brought the kid to the protest. He was in the cage for about 30 seconds, and he cried because he couldn't figure out how to get out. Number three, no. This is not a video of ICE agents, quote-unquote, drive-by macing people for no reason. That went mega viral. I watched the entire video myself. They were throwing things at law enforcement vehicles, and the guy maced the guy that was throwing things at law enforcement vehicles.
That's how it goes.
No, this is not a picture of a woman whose hand was shot off by ICE agents firing rounds at
I knew that one
mortars, as was
immediately.
claimed, and it got millions
That one
of
was
views.
obvious.
Nope, she was rioting and obstructing law enforcement, and as you can see right here, she picked up a flashbang before it detonated.
Yep. And what if it didn't explode? Then she would have just thrown that flashbang at them for it to detonate on them.
Injured her own hand, blew part of it off.
Rip
Next
bozo.
one. No, this is not a picture of a 5-year-old boy arrested by ICE. As reported, the boy's father abandoned him while he was fleeing arrest. That is a picture of ICE agents following protocol and not leaving a 5-year-old alone.
Look up all of the people who are releasing articles like that and look up who they are tied to, who are invested in them. Look up all the names that are tied to the investors, Trilateral Commission, international investment firms. See who their ties are. See where their money comes from. And you'll know that the satanic pedophiles are the ones that push all of that propaganda.
In freezing weather out on the street. Next one.
You can call me crazy, but it doesn't work now because I'm fucking right. It has been confirmed.
No, this is not a picture of a baby that was tear gassed by ICE while his parents were on their way to a basketball game. Go to that next picture. You can literally see in video that was uncovered later. His parents lied. They're on video at a violent protest, and they left their baby alone in a car for 45 minutes at a riot that they helped cause, and they forced tear gas to be deployed. Next one. This is not a picture of an innocent restaurant worker being arrested by heartless ICE agents. As you
didn't he run in there?
You can see right here. It is a picture.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Picture of an illegal child rapist who fled into a restaurant to avoid arrest.
No, it was the one. Holy shit, yeah. He fled into there. And I even fell for this one. I thought that they went in and arrested a guy that was working there. Nope, he fled into there.
Seems to have a knife in his hand if you look closely. Next one. This is not a picture of ICE ripping a disabled woman from her car while she was screaming that she was trying to get to the doctor, as was claimed and seen by millions of people. I watched the entire video. She was intentionally obstructing ICE officers by blocking a road. She was asked by 4 different ICE officers to move. She did not comply, and so they were forced to remove her from her vehicle. Next one. This is not a picture of a mother whose son was gunned down for no reason by quote-unquote racist ICE officers. Nope. Actually, it was discovered this kid was firing an AR-style rifle into the air in the middle of an apartment complex.
What the fuck? They do that all the time in Little Rock, by the way. 4th of July, terrible. It's so bad, even in Chicago and places like that. It's bad in Little Rock. I say that because I lived near Little Rock. It's worse in places like Chicago and LA during 4th of July. They just, instead of fireworks, they just fire off their illegal guns in the air.
By law enforcement who self-identified as law enforcement, and not only did he not comply, he is reported as turning his firearm on the ICE agent and firing a shot in the agent's direction. In fact, the kid's dad admitted in a video interview that I watched that his son was doing something illegal with a gun, and he knew that it was illegal. Next one. No, that is not an innocent man. This right here. There was not an innocent man that was shot for no reason by ICE agents in Arizona. Next one, actually, even the Associated Press reports the guy was firing rounds at law enforcement helicopters and law enforcement individuals, and they returned defensive fire. Next one.
How about that? I didn't even hear about that.
Of a federal agent,
I saw this one.
Terrorizing an innocent observer by pointing a gun at his face. Nope. If you go watch the video, I took these screenshots. The guy was obstructing law enforcement on purpose.
That's how they do.
Initiated contact with the law enforcement agent and pulled the gun, tried to pull it out of his hands. Then the muzzle of what appears to be a gun briefly flashes in front of his face because he pulled it out of the agent's hands, and it was pepper spray. It was not a rifle. Next one. No, this is not a New Yorker article about a quote-unquote innocent Jamaican U.S. citizen who was shackled and deported for no reason. Whoopsie-daisy. He had multiple felonies, including armed robbery and murder. I repeat, murder. So
yeah, it's gotten to the point where now I see news articles and I'm like, oh, it's probably the opposite of what they're saying.
Citizenship was revoked and law enforcement was carrying out the warrant for his arrest. Next one.
That's how I get my news. Now I see the news and I'm like, it's got to be the opposite. So it's like anti-news. All of these places like Time, Washington Post, fucking Wall Street Journal. I don't even know what all of them are. Even Associated Press.
No, this is making the rounds again. No, the current administration's deportations are not quote-unquote unprecedented on the cover of Time magazine. That's what it says. Actually, I'm going to read you some stats. Bill Clinton.
Time magazine, who said Hitler was person of the year.
Deported 12.3 million people. Bush deported 10.3 million people. Obama deported 3 million people. Biden deported 4.4 million people. So far, through both of his terms combined, Trump has deported a total of an estimated 2.5 million people.
Yep. Rookie numbers. We got to pump those numbers up. Fucking disappointing, dude. Everybody's freaking out about Trump. And I'm like, Trump's a fucking pussy. Why is everybody freaking out?
People, less than all these others. You may be asking the question, well, then why am I hearing so much about it? Why am I hearing about it more? Because you're in a propaganda war.
Yep.
That's why. Let's keep going.
The legacy people, the international retards, the cabal, the pedophiles in the corporations and governments they don't want anybody to be against them. They want everybody to fall in line so they can have control, and they're losing control. So they're freaking out. They're backed in a corner, and that's why all this is happening.
Next one. No, ICE is not the quote-unquote American Gestapo, as will probably surprise many people who are not as aware. The leader of ICE is that guy on the right. His name is Tom Homan. He served in the exact same position under Barack Obama. This is Barack Obama giving Tom Homan a Distinguished Service Medal in 2015 for deporting more people than he has during the current administration. Now listen, I could literally go on and on and on. Listen to me. Is this blanket approval of everything that every ICE agent does and everything the administration does? No, it isn't. Are you in a propaganda war? Yes. You are in a propaganda war, and it's designed.
It's been so long, dude. We've been telling people. At this point, if you don't know, then I think there's no saving you.
Listen, it's just think. Don't feel your way through things. Think your way through things. It's 2020 again. It's a propaganda war. It is designed to galvanize the public against law enforcement, just like they did in 2020.
Yep, it's election season, ladies and gentlemen. Shit's about to get fucking crazy. Just wait. Just wait whenever we get to the presidential elections again. That's probably when the Civil War is going to kick off.
Why is this happening? It's a midterm election year. Like, man, just
Yep.
actually stop
exactly.
and think for a second. So listen, man, Christians ought to be able to chew gum and walk at the same time. Okay, so Christians are commanded to love all people, including illegal immigrants. In fact, I'll just say this, man. I've seen some comments like people taking shots at me where they'll be like, hey, man, you guys have Lake Point and Espanol. Do you know that all of them are illegal? Or they'll be like, hey, man, you guys have I'll just say this. We have a food pantry that serves like almost 1 million meals per year out of Lake Point. I guarantee an enormous number.
It's not our job. It's not our job to deport these guys. It's the government's job. It's our job to be nice as Christians, and to be kind to everybody. But also, ICE needs to do their fucking job.
Of them are not legal residents of the United States. I don't care, because I'm going to let the government do their job.
Exactly.
And the church and individual Christians, we're going to do our job, and we bless God.
I don't know who this is. Who is this? I'm going to have to follow these guys.
God in those things. So absolutely, man. If somebody walks into my church and says, hey, man, will you disciple me? My answer is yes. And if somebody's hungry and they walk up to my church and they want food, my answer is, we are Christians. We feed hungry people. Yep, we want to help and bless you. So Christians are commanded to love all people, including illegal immigrants. God commands all people, including illegal immigrants, to obey just laws, including border laws. That should not be controversial, and it is not wrong for a nation to enforce the laws it's had on the books for over 5 decades. But listen, man, what you got to understand right now, and 10 toes down, you can comment to your heart's content on my Instagram page. 10 toes down, you are 100% in a propaganda war right now, and Christians have to become people who wait, learn, and reflect.
That's
instead
me.
of just emotionally reacting and getting caught up in mass hysteria. Why? Proverbs 18:17. Whoever states his case first seems right until another comes and examines him.
Yeah, that's a good one. One that I really like is Hebrews chapter 3, verses 7 through 9, I think, where it basically says, hey, all of you guys, you can fight. I'm going to move to the woods. That's not exactly what it says, but that's what it says. It's like, while they're having their rebellion, you're going to survive in the wilderness, just as Moses did for 40 years. Yeah, I'm ready for it.
You, my friends, are in the middle of a propaganda war, period.
That's true. It's getting bad out there, man. I'm not of this world. I'm just in it, and I'm just kind of reacting to it. What is this? What is he going over with the right here?
Thanks. I didn't realize Bush raped him too. Okay.
Okay, I don't want. I've already went over that. What's that? Actor Isaac Cappy paid with his life for exposing the truth. People like this should be remembered and in our thoughts. Isaac Cappy. I don't think I've ever heard of this guy, and there's probably a reason for that.
Steven Spielberg is a pedophile.
You don't say.
Yep. See how easy that was, Corey? I didn't need $10 million.
Damn. Okay.
I'm not going to talk about Tom Hanks either, who is also a pedophile. Tom Hanks, folks, is a pedophile.
And the Epstein files, yep. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is me at 13, the age I was when Tom Hanks purchased me from my father for sex as a dissociated mind control doll. I wonder how much he paid. I wonder how much money my father made for breaking my mind and selling my child body throughout my life. Will I ever get to know the price of exposing huge? That's crazy, dude.
I'm sorry if
I've seen that.
This is kind of bursting your bubble. All this information is new, but it's time that this comes out into the open because
Everybody knows. Everybody in Hollywood knows. Everybody outside of Hollywood knows now.
We are going to change the way everything works.
Actor Isaac Cappy dies by suicide at age 42. Cappy had small roles in the films Thor and Terminator Salvation and in the AMC series Breaking Bad. Bro. No, he didn't. He got suicided. That's crazy.
Steven.
Dude, that sucks so much.
China has no rules. 20 years ago, they had cows that produced human milk. 20 years ago, they had spiders that produced body armor, spider guts. Okay, they have human-animal hybrids. 30 years ago, they've got giant human tissue farms. You know, you hear, oh, your Achilles is torn. We've got a grown in a lab, a tendon. It's not a frickin' tendon grown in a lab. It's a frickin' deal, humanoid. These aren't humans. The way they get around it is they make them.
Wait a minute.
They make them a few.
We're saying so many things. This is, listen, I love you to death, but you say
I bet you
so
$10
many
million
different
humanoids
things.
are real.
I believe they are, but you say so many different things without stopping. It's hard
Because
for
I'm
people
reporting
to
to the government agency, so they'll listen and investigate. I'm decompartmental.
I think Joe Rogan kind of missed the point here with with Alex Jones saying all that. He's like, don't listen to the things that I'm saying, what the individual things. Think of it as a whole. And like, this shit is crazy. These people are doing these things, and it turns out, 1,000,000% they fucking are.
Okay, but
this will be studied for years.
So what?
No, what I'm telling you is, Joe.
Yeah, I don't think he really does. I think he kind of thinks he's crazy, but I think he does believe him at the same time because he's always right. And he's like, fuck, man, this is just so crazy. There's too many things. What is this? Oh, we asked Rudy Giuliani, who built the prison where Jeffrey Epstein died, if he thinks he is still alive after new files reveal guards claimed his body was taken out in a van. His answer shocked us. Okay.
So what about the prison? What about Epstein's death? You know, you built that prison, didn't you? You built the prison that Epstein died.
I have to disagree with my good friends here, you know, who came to the conclusion. I find it highly unlikely that you could commit suicide in that prison. I know that prison. Not only did I put probably a record number of people in there.
Really quickly, Mr. Mayor, because you have so much insight on all of this. What's resurfacing in my timeline due to the release of these files is that the feds aggressively went after a guard in the prison who created a whistleblower account of what actually happened.
How about that?
He says right here, dated, that there was a medical wheelchair
that
took Jeffrey Epstein out of his cell. He was cuffed. There was no triage nurse. And there was a transfer van that showed up with a military guard under it. And that Epstein didn't return, and he thinks that they actually swapped out the body. Now, this seems insane and was, like, obviously something that would have been written off out of hand.
Yeah, but then it popped up in the Epstein files. So what the fuck?
But now we can swipe through and see that there are actual federal documentation that they went after this guard.
Why would they go after this if it wasn't true?
The feds went after this guard. They identified him, went after his bank accounts, and attempted to prosecute him for this account. That seems a little odd. Do you think that that's plausible?
It's all a little odd, right?
They could have taken Jeffrey Epstein out of the prison and effectively this whole thing was just staged?
No.
Well, I mean,
you don't say the whole time the thing that we've been saying all along was happening? No, it couldn't be. When every single conspiracy theory that was plausible that we've ever had came true, this one time it's not going to be true? No, absolutely not. I don't believe it.
Of course, it's not plausible, but there is evidence that it may have happened. So you had to do a much more thorough investigation to discount it. Barr recused himself originally when he was seeking to be Attorney General. Then he made the decision on the case and made the definitive statement that it wasn't a suicide. And then we find out that Barr's father hired him as an unqualified young man. That could be perfectly innocent. It might not be perfectly innocent. was ever really investigated? It doesn't seem like that. There are too many, having investigated cases where you come to the conclusion to prosecute, you come to the conclusion of innocence, or you come to the conclusion you have enough evidence but not enough to win. You can come to all three, right? You run down everything. Here they seem to have run down very little. So, I think you're quite right in having a sense of justifiable doubt about it.
Yeah, I got all kinds of fucking questions, and nothing's being answered except for the fact that all the conspiracies were right, but that doesn't really answer anything. That doesn't change things. That just means that we know that the things that we've been saying were right. Does that mean that we're going to be able to do anything about it? Probably fucking not. What is this? Hold on. Jeffrey Epstein's massive money laundering operation identified by Ian Carroll as the core of his criminal empire.
The huge elephant in the room is actually what Jeffrey Epstein was best at and what his actual core primary job was, which was money laundering.
Right.
Like Jeffrey Epstein was the money guy. And
Yep.
it's,
he was the money guy for all of the elite pedophiles. That's all he was. He didn't actually run anything.
Journalists kind of were onto this earlier than others over the years. It took.
And by the way, there's so many guys that would fill that spot, and there's probably somebody who's filling that spot right now. They always got somebody. Because the person that fills that spot isn't actually a person, it's a demon, and you just need a body there. Somebody to fill in that gap for something that they need.
Certain amounts of disclosure for it to really become more and more transparent and clear. But for the longest time, the question was, where did this guy get his money? What was his skill set? And why was he valuable to these people? Why was he interacting with all these people? And it became more and more obvious over the years in the various disclosure drops that his skill was complex financial instruments being used to launder money. And back in the early days, that was like derivatives and things like CDOs, the kinds of derivatives that were used during the 08.
And I think he was doing it legally. I think he knew how to do it legally. I think he knew people to help set up systems in order for him to launder money and make money for very powerful elite pedophiles. And, man, I don't even know, man. It's so fucking insane. Like, everybody's involved. It's kind of entertaining, but like, it's also got me a little black-pilled, and I'm so glad that I'm a Christian. Or I'd be feeling like the world is on fire. And I do feel like that, but I've got the armor of God around me, so I'm not getting burned.
Financial collapse. He had a whole bunch of CDO companies, often offshore, tax havens in the Bahamas and stuff, that, mysteriously disappeared right before the 08 financial collapse. But then he also got really good at using charities and charitable foundations and, 501c3s and all these different structures. He was a master, apparently, at extremely complex movements of money through all these different strategies. And to such an extent that he was referring people, like some of the most powerful people in the world, he was referring them to JP Morgan for banking services, which is quite the euphemism there. And so you start to realize, you start to put two and two together, and you realize that he's referring them because he is the money guy. He is getting them connected into this money laundering network. And when you start to look at all the people that he referred, all the people that he worked with, and those connections, you start to ask the question, wait a minute, how much money was flowing through, like not staying in his account, but flowing through his various networked accounts? And I would suspect, in my own opinion, I would suspect that it is billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. And I would bet
probably trillions. I bet a lot. I bet a lot of the money that went missing in the government probably flowed through his accounts.
That if this disclosure is slanted in any direction, it's slanted towards all the salacious pedophilia to get you to ignore all the money, because all that.
I have a conspiracy theory, and it's probably right. It's probably true that the reason we're seeing all of this fraud being uncovered around COVID and started around COVID time is because the Epstein thing got caught out and nobody knew what to do with their money. So they were like, we're going to have to open up all of these fraud networks, and that's how we make our money to get people voted. Because it used to be using people like Epstein and using satanic rituals and things like that. And they couldn't do that no more. So they had to resort to doing fraud internationally. That's why it all started getting worse right after Epstein died.
Money is still flowing, and all those
all the same people connected with Epstein are all the same people that are connected to all these fraud networks that are being discovered.
Sergey Brin, founder of Google, Larry Page, founder of Google, Elon Musk tried to get it. I don't know if Elon Musk actually wound up getting the full referral. A bunch of these guys are getting referred to JP Morgan. Benjamin Netanyahu got set up with JP Morgan through him. Ehud Barak did. All sorts of people, like many, many, many very powerful billionaires.
It seems like Elon Musk was trying to get in, and at every turn he just stopped, almost as if he like saw something that was bullshit, so he pulled out. That's kind of what it seems like to me with Elon Musk. Almost going through with all these fucked up things and then not doing it. I don't know. It's so weird how he just wasn't able to break in at any point.
And so I can't help but wonder, what are those money flows doing today? What is the money laundering?
Or maybe they didn't trust him because they thought that he was going to expose everything, that he was like an insider agent.
Status with these various operations that were flowing through him today.
Double agent.
And why is none of the mainstream reporting talking about the money and talking about the banking?
I wonder.
And talking about all that back end? Because
probably because all these companies that were involved are also involved in all of the mainstream news corporations.
You know, follow the money. You'll find the real, the real deal in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just too obscure and occult for the average person to sink their teeth into. Because obviously, hearing, did you torture the woman? A lot easier to just sink your teeth into that than well, he was transferring this. So I wonder, is there a way to make the case that no, you should be paying attention to this. This is where the power, truly lies. Make that in a way that's as compelling, maybe not as compelling, but
it never will be.
Never will be, right?
It never will be as compelling, and it'll never be
but it's more important.
Good of a story, but. Yeah, I think that the onus falls to journalists to do that, and this is stuff that I'm trying to dig into over the next couple months, and I've been focusing a lot on it over the last couple months, of just digging apart everything we know about the money and about the money trail, the various banking institutions that he was working with, the various shell companies he had set up, because as a journalist, if you can get that thread to link up to the next big piece of the story, then it can become compelling enough to tell it in a way that's like, oh, guys, get this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But without the linkages, it's just a bunch of complex shell companies, which is what money laundering is. It's like obscuring the money flows through a bunch of complex stuff that is just hard to track. So,
and Epstein talked about this in his interview with Bannon, and he talked about how eventually something just breaks and it all falls apart and companies collapse, and there's not really an explanation to it. Nobody knows why or how or what happened or how this works, but that's the way it is. And then you just open up another one. And you just keep building on it, and you're leeching on the system, and then you have a leech that's leeching on that leech, and then a leech that leeches on that leech, and then you got a leech that leeches over all of the leeches, so then it's the big leech, and then they turn around and leech on that. It's so fucking weird and fucked up. I call it the web of disgusting bullshit.
I'm not sure what is on the other end of that, and I know there's a bunch of good journalists digging into it, and I hope they don't stop. I'm gonna personally not stop, because this is salacious and this is important, and all of the trafficking and abuse is critical to expose and to talk about. But if you don't also uncover the money flows, then the actual system is going to stay in place. Right. The actual abusive networks, the organized crime networks, everything that this was built on top.
And you can't stop looking. Even when you find everything, you can't stop looking for other stuff, because they're just going to open up new networks.
Was the money. And so it's like fixing the rash, but not fixing the disease that caused the rash in the first place.
That's exactly what it is, man. Uh-oh, Glenn Beck is in the Epstein files. What do you mean? What happened?
So I get a call. Glenn, you're in the Epstein files. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not possible. It is. So I want to read exactly what it says. Okay? Jeffrey Epstein to Alice Jacobs. She writes, Jeffrey, just Googled where I'm headed right now to meet some old friends, and it occurred to me that a new friend and fellow eccentric is right around the corner from where I'm visiting. I might be able to stop by and say hello if you're around later this afternoon. Would love a quick visit, but it would be a welcome respite from the Fox News Glenn Beck disciples that I have to visit today. They are lovely aside from their politics. Cheers, Alex.
Yeah, you know exactly who these people are because of who they're against.
He writes back, come at 4. Other crazies here.
I want to point out something. Hang on. Sent from BlackBerry wireless handheld.
Here.
Dude, all of them were connected through BlackBerries at the time. I want to look up something. Hang on. I want to look up BlackBerry. Who owned BlackBerries? Who owned BlackBerry phones? I know the company. BlackBerry Limited was the original developer and owner of BlackBerry phones, having been founded as Research in Motion in 1984 by Mike Lazaridis and Douglas Freegan. Okay. How about connection to government and corporations? How about that? U.S. government approved BlackBerry devices for federal employees in 2008. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security signed a 7-year IDIC contract into 2023 for its super enterprise PIN system using BlackBerry AtHoc. NATO, the NATO Communications and Information Agency, granted security accreditation to BlackBerry SecuSUITE for government for secure global communications. Five Eyes. Intelligence Alliance members use SecuSUITE for secure voice and text. G20 governments rely on BlackBerry's secure communication tools. EU government agencies, a major European Union government organization, uses BlackBerry UEM, BlackBerry Work, and BlackBerry Dynamics to secure over 30,000 devices across 23,000 plus users. Corporate and enterprise use, financial sector, firms like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley use BlackBerry devices and now use BlackBerry Enterprise Service for secure communications. Aerospace and defense, Boeing, healthcare and regulated industries, BBM Enterprise Sports, HIPAA compliance, manufacturing and industrial companies like Pepperell Fox, I don't know who that is, use BBM Enterprise. Okay, so how about what do I need to look at? Who is invested in BlackBerry? How about that? Major investors in BlackBerry. Fairfax, Legal and General Group, Voya Investment Management, The Vanguard Group, Connor Clark and Lund Investment Management, Murray. Dude, it's a bunch of companies that I always talk about, and guess who is connected with all of these companies? Places like the Trilateral Commission and fucking international investment firms are just invested in everything, even stuff that the government uses. And all of the elite pedophiles.
I don't know what that means.
All of the elite pedophiles use BlackBerries.
But this is the best way to be in the Jeffrey Epstein, where Jeffrey and his friends are like, I hate Glenn Beck, and I don't like people who like Glenn Beck. Yes, so I am proudly in the Epstein files.
Yeah, good for him. Full vindication, I guess. Go viral for that. Q doesn't sound so crazy after all, does it?
During the pandemic, the QAnon movement appears to be gaining a lot of followers. Can you talk about what you think about that and what you have to say to people who are following this movement right now?
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much.
And it turns out that pretty much the entire time, every conspiracy theory that was coming out of the QAnon movement was fucking right. Holy shit. I think Q is probably going to be a problem. I think they're going to merge with MAGA, whatever you want to call it, after Trump's gone. probably after this next administration after Trump, which is probably going to be the J.D. Vance administration, when they're gone, it's going to be some weird mishmash of Q and MAGA. And it's probably going to be pretty base, and it's going to get real fucking crazy out there, man. We're probably going to have been fighting a civil war for years at that point.
Which I appreciate, but I don't know much about the movement. I have heard that it is gaining in popularity, and from what I've heard, these are people that when they watch the streets of Portland, when they watch what happened in New York City in just the last 6 or 7 months, but this was starting even 4 years ago when I came here, almost 4 years, can you believe it? These are people that don't like seeing what's going on in places like Portland and places like Chicago and New York and other cities and states. And I've heard these are people that love our country, and they just...
And I think they're going to end up getting radicalized or radicalizing somebody, and they're going to be basically the anti-Antifa, and they're going to start taking over these cities.
Don't like seeing it. So I don't know really anything about it other than they do supposedly like me, and
they do things. Not very often do Republican organizations do things. Q does stuff.
They also would like to see problems in these areas, like especially the areas that we're talking about, go away, because there's no reason the Democrats can't run a city. And if they can't, we will send in all of the...
Oh, they're running it just fine. They're running the cities perfectly fine. Exactly how they were meant to be run. Well, exactly how they set them up to be run, for them to keep getting voted in, keep their power, make everything shit while everything gets better for themselves.
Federal, whether it's troops or law enforcement, whatever they'd like, we'll send them in, we'll straighten out their problem in 24 hours or less. Okay?
Well, at the crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind? Or
well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean,
right? I feel that.
You know, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there. And we are, actually. We're saving the world from a radical left philosophy that will destroy this country. And when this country is gone, the rest of the world would follow.
I don't think so. I think it would just be really, really shitty. I think the world would still be here. I think it'd just be really, really bad. That's what I'm saying. We're either about to enter a golden age or a dark age. And it's going to be all based on what happens with Trump.
The rest of the world would follow. That's the importance of this country. And when you look at some of the things that these people are saying with defund the police and no borders, open borders, everybody just pour right into our country. No testing, no nothing. You know, you talk about testing, no testing. Mexico, as you know, has a very high rate of infection. The wall is now going to be next week 300 miles long. Our numbers are extraordinary on the border. And this is through luck, perhaps, more than talent, although the talent is getting it built when one party refuses to allow it. You don't hear talk about the wall anymore. But I will say that...
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're done talking about that because it's not marketable. People got tired of it, so they're moving on to the next thing. They'll probably talk about a worse thing that's happening or make things seem like they're worse just because they are sick of the wall, but they want to talk about the wall. They don't want the wall to happen. So what they'll do is they'll just burn down a city and talk about that and make Trump deal with that.
We need strength in our country, not weakness.
Okay, I think I'm going to hop off X after I check my notifications. Yep, okay. I'm hopping over to YouTube, do my YouTube commentary, but I'm going to take a quick intermission because I gotta use the bathroom. So I will see you in just a few minutes. I'm back. Now it's time to jump into the next portion, which is going to be reacting to YouTube, which isn't really a portion. I'm just deciding to react to YouTube. Sometimes I might just react to YouTube. I might just react to X. I don't know. I just kind of feel out these live streams. So let's go back to commentary. And it looks like Turkey Tom finally released a video about his side. And I want to take a look at it. I've been waiting for this. Finally, something lighthearted to get me out of all of the Epstein craziness. Some sexual assault allegation news.
I'm sorry that this response took so long. I wanted to make sure I had all the facts.
No, you're good, man.
Together before saying anything. Recently, I've been accused by an ex-girlfriend, along with an ex-partner, of non-consensually filming sexual encounters, being so rough and inconsiderate during sexual encounters that it bordered on assault, encouraging eating disorders, being into age play, along with a litany of other completely baseless, false accusations. The two...
Yeah, it's fucking some crazy shit that I kind of just don't care about.
Women who are accusing me, Sacramento 89, real name...
You just need to, you know, hashtag stop gooning.
Rowan and Left 4 Dead, real name Katie, took to gossip forum Kiwi Farms to post the accusations, along with carefully cherry-picked screenshots to back up their claims. These claims aren't super difficult to debunk just because of the overwhelming amount of evidence I have on my side.
This shit right here is why I don't involve myself with content creators usually, especially the ones that look like the girls that he was getting involved with. E-girls.
So, without further ado, let's start with Sacramento or Rowan. This is a girl I dated for about 7 months, from May of 2025 until January 10th of 2026. 4 days later, she made her first post. Here, she alleges that I am a real freak and like
so this was like immediately after the breakup. This is typical ex-girlfriend drama. She should have waited. She should have waited a little bit before dropping all of this, because she just seems like an emotional douche.
Who, quote, record sexual encounters without asking for consent. This is blatantly untrue. I have never recorded any sexual encounter without explicit consent. As a matter of fact, with Rowan, she was the one who initiated the idea of filming sex acts in the first place. On Tuesday, August 19th...
That's the way it was with my ex, by the way. She didn't like the fact that I watched porn, so she was like, how about you just make porn of me? And then it got weird.
After 3 months of knowing each other and being sexually active, Rowan texted me saying, you should get those Meta glasses when you crack me. I responded by saying, for what? And she answers again, cracking time, alluding to me filming her with the glasses onboard camera. Now, at the time, I did not feed into this. I did not show enthusiasm. I didn't even agree to get the glasses. I just responded and said, good night, sweet dreams. So 1 whole week goes by without us talking about it whatsoever, and then on August 25th, Rowan texts me saying, you should get those Meta things for real. So I respond by saying, I think I'm going to avoid filming anything involving sex for a while, showing that I am clearly not the person interested in filming our sexual encounters. She is. As you can see in the text, even...
Yeah, never should have done it in the first place. I never should have done it, and I'm glad that it was only filmed on my side, and I deleted all that shit. I got rid of that evidence. No, there was nothing even weird, actually, about it. It's just the fact that we were recording. It was weird. I didn't like it. I didn't like doing that.
When I say I don't want to film us having sex, she pushes the issue. Now, to be clear, we did eventually take videos of ourselves being intimate, but I was given explicit consent every single time. And on a few occasions, she even took the phone out of my hand and was holding.
In the future, I'm going straight in the dark, missionary, no talking, just, you know, just full passion, slow, make sure everything's okay. I don't trust shit, man. I ain't doing it. No degenerate shit at all. I'm just going straight up what God intended. Baby making only. I'm going full Ben Shapiro.
Holding it while filming us. To be clear, there was never a tripod or a hidden camera. It was always handheld, and in every single video, she was clearly aware of the camera, making eye contact with the camera lens. Also, on September 8th, Rowan texts me, I do miss it though, in regards to our sexual interactions. She follows it up by saying, send the videos. Keep in mind, these are videos that she claims in present day were taken without her consent. She then goes on to say, and I quote, I will watch them and keep them close to my heart, clearly indicating she has no problem whatsoever with them existing. I'm an extremely paranoid person when it comes to my personal life and my sex life and my dating life. As a public figure, I just like to keep my private life private. So I was very hesitant to send Rowan any sexual videos we had taken. However, I did send her one single still image from one of the videos where my face is obscured. I guess there was some lingering thought in the back of my mind that if her accounts were not locked down super well, and if she had been hacked, then the videos could have been made public. Now, there's an implication she makes a few different times that I'm basically blackmailing her with these videos.
Somebody asked if you had any intention of getting any sort of like law enforcement involved, but I feel like you answered this where you just want to try to compel him to delete whatever he has on you, and that's like the extent of your interest.
Yeah. And if he doesn't, I don't know. I'm kind of confused about what to do, but we'll see.
At no point anywhere did Rowan provide any proof of me threatening to release these videos of us having sex, or threatening to send them anywhere. So she has no reason to believe that I would ever release them. The idea that
It's so
a person
weird.
who makes a living as a public figure,
from what I've heard about him and from what I've seen about him in live streams, for like the 6-hour live streams that I've watched him in multiple times, probably 100 times, he doesn't seem like the person that would do something like that.
would publicly release videos of me fucking my ex-girlfriend to get back at her is so insane. Not only would that incur reputational harm beyond belief,
That's why I didn't believe it immediately. Also, just like but what I said, you got to go full missionary in the dark, slow, passionate. You can't do nothing else, or something's gonna come out and you're gonna get in trouble. Unless you're like, actually, you got your lockdown ride or die partner for life.
but also serious legal consequences. The only person who has ever sent an image of us having sex to anyone is, ironically, Rowan. Days after I broke up with her, she, without my consent, sent the only image she has of us having sex to the owner of Kiwi Farms. Here, listen to him describe it.
Oh, and one other thing, I forgot about this, but you actually, Sacramento had sent me a picture that was like censored. Apparently the only picture that he would send you is one where his face isn't clearly visible in it, but you can, I can tell the desk, like his computer is moved onto the table, but I can still see like the monster is like on the cozy that's like on the table, like in the exact same position. So I can tell that's clearly his desk.
I guess I just find it ironic that someone who's accusing me of blackmailing her with her nudes literally sent a picture of us having sex to a man that she has never met. Now, Josh recounts seeing this image and talks about how hard it looks like I was grabbing Rowan on the mouth, essentially using it as evidence to support another claim she makes that I'm too rough during sex, which I find very interesting because after I sent Rowan this photo, she texted me saying, "I like when you cover my mouth like that." Again, she texts me asking me to send her the videos, and she says, "Yeah, whenever you're not locked..."
I like when you cover my mouth like that. You make a woman go mad. You made her go mad, bro.
Send the videos. It will fix me for about a week. Goon sash. This is
I'm
clear
a better singer than that. I'm just playing around. I promise I'm a better singer.
evidence that she has no problem with these videos existing. To this day, she has provided zero proof that the videos were recorded non-consensually, or that I was blackmailing her with them, or that I had any intention of sending them to anyone. Reason being, I never did any of those things. In Rowan's interview, she claims that I never asked for consent to film these sex acts, and says that she wouldn't notice I was filming until 30 seconds to 1 minute into it.
I'm not sure of an exact date, but maybe like 2 or 3 months into our relationship, he never asked me. He would just pull out his phone and record, and I wouldn't notice until maybe 30 seconds in a minute or a minute into it.
Now, I obviously can't and would never show these videos to anyone, but in them, it's undeniable that she is staring directly into the camera from the moment the video starts. She never once questions why I'm filming or what I'm doing, because the reality is that every single time we recorded, I had explicit permission. Ask yourself, how could she possibly have never consented to filming when she's literally holding my phone next to her face as she sucks my dick? In the interview, she says that what really concerns her is that I wouldn't send her any of the sexual videos we took.
I had asked him multiple times if he could please.
Yeah, it seems like that she needs to hashtag stop gooning. She seems like the degenerate in this situation. You know, that kind of manipulated him, from what I'm hearing here.
Send me the videos, so like he's not the only one who has videos of me naked. And he either ignored the question or was just like, no.
As I said earlier, I was paranoid to send these videos to anyone, even her, for fear of them leaking. Weirdly, in messages at the time, she seems to actually get it, saying, I want to see them videos, goon time, before following up by saying that she actually understands why I'm scared to send them to her. Now we're going to fast forward to October 17th in our text, and Rowan says, do you ever go back and watch our videos? And I reply, yes, I do sometimes, actually. Rowan responds that she's thinking about that right now, and then says, quote, need that big white cock. It's also kind of strange to me that at the time...
What the fuck, man? All right. Well, confirmed. Tom Dark has a BWC. Tom's got a turkey.
She referred to them as our videos, but in the present, she's claiming she doesn't even want them to exist. On November 6th, Rowan asked me why I never ask her for nudes. I say I have a bunch of videos already, and that's why. She does not express that she has a problem with me having the videos. She doesn't complain about it. She doesn't say they were taken without her consent. In fact, throughout the entire relationship, she was sending me nude photos of herself unsolicited every single month. Why would you send nude photos?
She seems the type.
Yourself to someone you think could use them against you. Rowan
narcissism.
Personally posted dozens of screenshots of our texts, and not a single one shows her bringing up any of the videos being non-consensual. Another interesting fact is that during our breakup, she texted me a pros and cons list, which she apparently had written about me on January 4th of 2026.
That's fucking insane, dude.
And in the con section, she complains about a lot of things, but she doesn't mention non-consensual videos whatsoever. With that out of the way, we can move on to Rowan's claim that I was sexually abusive towards her. In that same pros and cons list, Rowan wrote, says he likes hurting me during sex and making me bleed. This also reflects her public claims about me, but the great irony is that
Yeah, she said that, but I don't think that I saw anything that was confirming it to be true. Like,
Never
gonna need
even said
evidence.
this. She did. On September 14th, 2025, Rowan sent me a text saying, quote, I'm such a freak. I like when it hurts and bleeds after. Something Wong. And one of
Oh, okay.
her public-facing posts about me, she posts an interaction which reads as follows. She says, quote, like, we don't need to do it 3 times in one day or do it so hard I hurt and bleed. And I said, well, if you don't want to have as much sex, we don't gotta. We can do other things. And she says, okay, I like doing other things too. The way this screenshot is...
That's a lot of sex in one day, dude. Like, even when I had a 10-year relationship going, it was like we were skipping days. And it was never really multiple times in a day. That's like 16-year-old behavior, you know? Where you're just humping like rabbits. The fuck are you doing? How are you doing that? Are you on something that is making you like that? Probably.
It comes across like I'm some just super callous freak who's brutally jackhammering her vagina like Steve mining diamonds. But in the full uncropped screenshot, her immediate response to me after that is, I'm a freak, I say this, and as soon as I see you, I'm going to be freaky again. I can't resist. In the interview, she elaborates on this even more, specifically claiming that she was...
This is a fucking nympho, dude. You got yourself wrapped up with a succubus.
Almost every time we had sex.
Okay, and you would bleed the
Yes.
same? And you didn't stop?
Yeah, I would bleed almost every time.
This is just blatantly untrue as well, and it's easy to see by going through our text messages. On August 17th of 2025, the day after my birthday, Rowan and I were planning to go to Mass, and she wanted to have sex with me. So she texted me saying, Tom, I started my period. I was driving, so I couldn't say much, but I replied by saying, that sucks, I'm 40 minutes away. She follows up by asking me if I mind getting my sword bloody, and I say I'll be okay. So if it wasn't already clear, she's asking me if I'm okay with getting blood on my dick. Why would this be something she's even asking if every time we have sex, I'm making her bleed? Keep in mind, this is months into us going out and being sexually active, and she's still worried that the idea of bleeding during sex would gross me out. Now, as soon as she began posting about me, people were naturally...
You know what this says to me about Tom? It says to me that he's got a really big dick for a white dude. Good for
her
him.
Claim that she was bleeding from sex every single time. They asked if she had some kind of medical problem.
Basically a compliment.
And she says, I have no health issue that I know of, never bled during sex before. It was the aggression. Just gave into it after a while and told him I liked it, but I bled after almost every single time. I feel like most of this statement has already been dispelled, but even the smallest detail of no medical condition that I know of is also false. On September 24th of 2025, Rowan texted me saying that she's going to switch from her current birth control, Nexplanon, to the pill because she has month-long periods that cause her to bleed. So regardless of sex, Rowan admittedly bleeds for an entire month at a time. One of Rowan's main criticisms is that I'm too rough. In fact, she describes our sexual interactions as intense, violent aggression every single time.
I genuinely did think that he would maybe change and stop being so aggressive, because he told me before that he would like kind of chill out, but he never did chill out, and it kept being the same very intense, violent aggression every single time.
She also alleges that I hit, choked, and beat her without asking, essentially painting me as an abusive partner.
Unfortunately, I did still stay with him, and I know a lot of people seem to have a lot of questions about that, and honestly, you were completely correct to question my judgment as to why I stayed with him, even though he was, you know, hitting and choking and beating.
Dude, it's shit like this that makes me not want to meet a girl unless it's a girl in church and we're gonna be dating by going to church.
There's this idea she's trying to paint that in the relationship, I was constantly pushing this rough, violative sex onto her, and even though she didn't like it and was being abused, she stayed with me. I've seen some people question her saying things like, well, if you hated it, why didn't you just leave? But realistically, sometimes people do stay with abusive partners, and I don't want to invalidate their stories through my response. The real reason that she didn't leave is because she loved having sex with me, and throughout our entire relationship was constantly begging me to validate her fantasies. In this first screenshot here, she expresses that she is a real freak and says that she wants me to kidnap her, even saying, I want to be tied up, taken to the woods, and pounded. So maybe there's something wrong with me. I respond by saying that we should not have sex in the woods, and she says, you nervous? Right here in this next one, Rowan says, I yearn to be manhandled and led across a dark room. That's why I like you. I reply saying, you are like a dungeon person. And she says, you are big like a...
You know, I wouldn't mind having sex in the woods if they were my fucking woods. Like, I just don't want to go to the park. Even though I've done that before. But like now I wouldn't do that. And we're going to be fucking married. No, I ain't getting entangled into any of this kind of shit. I almost did multiple times. No, thank you. Not doing that again.
Caveman, and I feel small next to you. In fact, anytime I wanted to have more loving, slow, I guess sensual intercourse with Rowan in the bedroom, she actually had a problem with that. I remember one specific instance where I was being more slow and sensual, and I remember her whispering in my ear saying, I want you to pound me. And that's probably why on June 5th, 2025, she texted me saying, I need to get face fucked for an hour. And I replied by saying, damn, exams suck. On June 7th, she texts me and says, I'm excited to get fucked borderline domestic violently. At one point in the interview, she states that one time I was angry at my ex-girlfriend, and that the next time we had sex, I was particularly aggressive. This is a very strange thing to accuse me of, given that on October 13th, Rowan says verbatim, sometimes I want to fight you just so you be more angry when you fuck me. She clarifies saying, I do like that though, even without the fighting. So at every opportunity, this girl is publicly saying, oh my god, look at all this horrible shit he did to me. And then she...
Man, I fucking love YouTube drama. I fucking love it. It's like this kind of shit. I'm glad nothing's happening. I'm glad it's just a retard being a retard and nothing actually happened. And she's just a fucking... some normal dude that I like on the internet got into a relationship with a freaky bitch and it went wrong. It's, such an escape from what's going on right now.
She's texting me that she wants me to kidnap her, tie her up, and pound her in the woods. And if anyone is putting up any resistance to that, it's me. She once again lies about weird little things in the interview. Like she says that I was her second boyfriend.
He was my...
I doubt that.
Second boyfriend.
And when I heard this, I was very confused.
Maybe like second serious boyfriend, and then she's had like 200 other than that she wouldn't consider boyfriends.
Is because she told me that I was her third. In my opinion, she said this to make herself seem less sexually experienced than she really is, to make the case stronger that I was taking advantage of her. Now, in this next post, she writes, again, I'm not alleging anything illegal, just that he would hit and choke because he was a super gooner. Sort of normalize it in my head, but it's definitely not okay to...
So what she's doing is she doesn't want to get involved in legal stuff because that's hard. And that's really messy and expensive. She wants just enough to get Tom canceled and not have to go to court.
Do that. So for information on how I supposedly normalize this behavior, let's go back to the beginning of our relationship and see what our conversations about sex were like. On Wednesday, May 14th, after only hanging out with Rowan once, she texted me saying she's excited to hang out with me again, and she already knows my penis is massive, without me saying anything sexual to her at this point. So as you might suspect, we did have intercourse on our second date, and after this first sexual encounter, Rowan texts me saying, quote, "Rape thing is so hot. I never did that before. You should tie me up next time." My response to this is consensual sex is good. And she says, "You know what I meant by that. I don't know what to call it." So from the very first interaction we have, she calls our sex rape for some reason, saying how hot it is, to which I clarify that it was consensual, and she says, "I know what you mean." And for the record, I never indulged in her fantasy to be tied up, just not something I was interested in any way. And we also never did anything in the woods, in case you're curious about that.
Yeah, this
to
is
hammer
a
this point
succubus.
home, let's go over some more.
She was
texts
trying
where
to
Rowan
catch you,
talks
bro.
about Sex. On Friday, May 16th, she texts me asking when I'm free and says that she needs my, quote, "big dick." And I say, "Don't say ah." And she says, "It is, and I need it." On May 18th, Rowan says she's not used to being with someone with as big of a dick as mine. She says that it hurt her, but she wants to do it again, and she won't be a pussy about it. Some of her public claims about me are more desperate and weird than others. Like she complains that I didn't eat her out.
Like, he never once ate me out, but he would demand that I would constantly suck his dick. And, like, yeah.
But here is a text message of me directly telling
That's
her.
some tectone shit right there. Demanding to constantly suck his dick.
Look, I'm a selfish lover. And she says, "It's okay. I like sucking dick more than getting eaten out. I'm a real freak." Despite her acting like I am a sexual degenerate, repeatedly doing sex acts she doesn't enjoy, here she is saying,
I think he just wants to hump, fart, and then sleep.
"Match my freak, kind of. Not you're too freaky or we've been too freaky." She says that I match her freak. Here in this next one, she says, "I'm getting on my knees as soon as I see you, by the way, freak mode." In this next one, I give a little bit of input. I tell her I'm thinking about her pussy. And she responds to me saying, "You gonna tear it up or what?" Now, my question for you in the audience would be, do people who are into slow, romantic, candlelit sex describe intercourse as their pussy getting torn up? I would say probably not. Here in this next one, she says she's going to leave mass early on Sunday to go get some dick. And keep in mind, I don't want to reveal any of this information, okay? I don't want to be saying this. I don't want to be here right now.
Not gonna
and I
lie.
would never intend on sexually shaming an ex-partner. But she's gone out of her way
And
to
like,
not only
I kind of don't feel bad about any of this. I don't feel bad for Tom, really. Like, since it's not really that bad and he's pretty much vindicated, it's just kind of you fucked around with a succubus. Don't do that. Don't fuck around with a succubus. Don't engage in gooner activities. This is what you get. You should have known. He should have known this was going to happen.
shame me, but also to lie in an effort to paint me as some gooner, freak, borderline rapist. So let's keep going. Here, Rowan makes a post saying that I am a Patrick Bateman gooner because I flexed in the mirror after we had sex. But the strange part about this
I hope he
is
does.
that I have a text of her saying, quote, "I keep thinking about how hot it was watching myself take your big dick in the mirror. Gooner as fuck, sorry." Reading through what she says about me publicly.
Oh man, I hope the fuck he was flexing in the mirror. That's so based.
It's like every accusation she makes towards me is actually some kind of confession to her own behavior. On June 25th, she texts me wondering if she can give me head after getting her wisdom teeth taken out. She obviously wouldn't be able to do that because it causes your face to swell up like a blimp. And she responds with, "No, I gotta do it as much as possible before." Here, Rowan's asking me, am I the tightest, most perfect girl you ever fucked? On July 2nd, she says, I miss that big dick so much, I'm under spells. On July 5th, I bring up us wearing condoms, and Rowan says, ew, no, and then tells me that she wants me to cream pie her, and that she's a real freak. After I say happy birthday, sweetie, for her 21st, she says that all she wants for her birthday is my big, white cock. In this next one, she texts me saying, I miss feeling like I'm going to break in
Okay.
half, not gonna lie. In this next one, she says, I like when you make me choke on it and call me a good girl. On July
All right.
23rd, she says,
All right.
can I come over
Yep.
and suck on it Friday night? Which I don't accept. I tell her that I'm busy. She then says, I have the big white cock addiction. Interestingly enough, in this next one, she's asking me if I can have sex.
Has anybody told Asmongold about this yet? I think Asmongold needs to see this video.
With her while holding her in the air, essentially.
Like, this is the biggest vindication video that I've ever seen. Pun intended.
And tells me that I should try to do it. Once again, a pretty bizarre thing to ask someone to do who allegedly has been abusing you for 3 months by now with overly rough sex. On July 21st, she starts off by texting me, I hate gooner men. And then not even 1 minute later, she says, I need that big white cock. On August 23rd, she says, whenever I wake up without my morning Tom face...
Rules for thee, but not for me.
Fuck, I am sad. On September 2nd, she expresses that she wished she lived closer to me, but if she did, it would be an issue because she would want to come suck my dick all the time. On September 17th, she sends me an Instagram reel of someone praying the rosary. I don't respond, and she follows up by saying, I miss that dick so much.
What the
Here in this
fuck?
next photo, she sends me a picture of her in
If
lingerie.
that doesn't tell you everything that you needed to know right there. She posted that and then followed it up with, I want that dick. Bitch is a succubus. Confirmed.
With the caption, when is
Like, all the signs were there.
rape time. And after she said that, all I did was respond with a photo of the movie Just Friends. On Thursday, September 25th at 7:30 a.m., Rowan says, I hope you come. I got something special for our rape times. I say, change that to consensual sexual encounters, and she says, I know. She expands on this particular message and says, are you mad at me? I know it's consensual. So even as we're approaching over 4 months of being together, she's still telling me that our sex is consensual and that she likes it. Now that I've gone through a lot...
I think she wants it to not be consensual. I know a couple girls who told me that was their fantasy. With no plans of, me actually doing anything with those girls, and I think that's why they told me. It was two at the same time told me this, while one of my friends was trying to fuck both of them at the same time, and I was like, it's not a good idea. They have these terrible fantasies that are gonna get you in a lot of trouble, because they want it to be non-consensual. They is some real freaks.
Our messages, I think it's pertinent that we get into the month of October. This is the month that Rowan has publicly claimed that there was one specific incident that occurred during which she asked me to stop having sex with her, and I did not. To be perfectly clear, this never happened. But just to have some fun, we can go through our text day by day in this month to see which day this horrific incident could have possibly occurred. On October 2nd, she texts me saying, you are perfect. On October 3rd and 4th, we hung out. She asked me if I got home okay, and she says that I am her formal date in her heart. She then says that she hates when anyone comments on her body, even in a positive way, and I tell her that she should eat slop and go for a walk and not worry about it, and that she is beautiful. On October 8th, she continues being sexual, complimenting my arm. She then resends me a meme that says, me if I do not have violent sex very soon. On October 8th, she also says, I miss my handsome husband. Here, I tell her I landed in Texas. She says, I miss sucking on it. She then texts me saying, you got to start putting rape time in your reminders. On October 9th, she says that she wants to hang out. I say I arrived. On October 10th, she says, let me know when you get back safe. I always have such a fun time with you. On October 14th, she says she wishes she was waking up to me in the morning. And she then expresses sadness that I'm not moving closer to the city where she's from to live near her. She then states that her life has improved since meeting me because previously...
Yeah, he kind of knew, probably, that he did not want to end up with this chick and marry this chick, but he wanted to keep fucking her. And, keep hanging out with her, I guess. I don't know. It's what I'm saying, man. He should have known. Tom, you get to be shit all over on the internet for a little bit.
She was partying and going out, and now she spends time
Is
with
it
me.
absolutely
October 15th,
embarrassing?
she says, I started my period. I wish I could come suck on it. And that evening, she says, I would kill myself if I had to talk to any other man but you. I say, that's true. I'm a nice guy. And she says, yeah, I'm the bad guy. On October 17th, we've already read this, but this is once again where she says, do you ever go back and watch our videos? And I say, yeah, I do sometimes actually. And she responds to me that she's thinking about that right now and says, quote, need that big white cock. In the mirror, you dead ass look like the Hulk compared to me. Now, one thing to note here is that at no point does she express that the videos were taken without her consent. Once again, I just want just want to have that hammered down here. On October 19th, she texted me saying she needs my milk right now. She then says, I miss my perfect jacked boyfriend, and that night she sends me nudes. At 10 p.m., she sends me a photo of a guy with a clock in his hand and says, I need that dick. On October 21st, I sent her a bicep photo. She responds saying, you look good, Tom. I can't wait to suck your dick. She says, I love you. You're a great boyfriend. She then says, you never officially asked me to be your girlfriend, to which I say that we did. On October 23rd, there's proof we hung out that day. She then says, text me when you get home safe, and I say, I made it. She also texted me saying, I love when my bed smells like your musk. On October 24th, she says, good night, you're the best boyfriend ever. October 25th, she sends me a photo of herself in a deer outfit and says, meow, I miss Tom's big white dick. That night, she says, I'm going to send you ass pics tomorrow. On October 26th, we've read this one before, but here she says, next time during our epic rape time, you can tie me up. I say, you mean consensual sex, and she follows it up by saying, you know what I mean, Tom, rough sex. Once again, these are really weird messages to be sending to someone that you now claim is sexually abusing you on a weekly basis. Now that evening, the evening of October 26th, we can see that I hang out at Rowan's house and I sleep over. Then there's a text that shows that I'm leaving and mentioned that I took my friend to the hospital. On October 27th, she says that she hopes I'm doing well. She loves me so much. On October 30th, she says that we'll be married in 2 years. October 31st at 12:30 in the morning, she texts me and says, I had a nightmare you broke up with me. Oh my God.
Oh no, that is the fucking worst. That is a sign of things to come. If you would have stayed with her, it would have been nonstop that. This bitch was crazy. That's the W that he gets out of this situation. He can finally break it off. There's no going back.
He then says that I should cut a hole in my Batman suit for my dick. On October 31st in the afternoon, she says, oh, Tom, I yearn for the big white cock. On November 1st at 1:20 a.m., she says, up? No good night? I love you? Yeah, it's fucking over. I tell her that I'm falling asleep, and she says, you was madly in love with her and not me. I'm gonna myself. I tell her, good night, I'll see you tomorrow, and I then say, do not say anything like that ever again. Now, for a little more context on this specific message and what she's talking about here, during our entire relationship, she was extremely insecure about the fact that before I was with her, I had lived with a girl, and she wanted me to basically show more commitment in the relationship than I was willing to show, as far as like moving physically closer to her. And at a few points, she suggested that we move in together, and I said, you know, it's just too soon. We're not really ready for that. I don't think that makes sense after dating for just a few months to move in together. So that's the
way I
context
feel
of it.
about it.
Constantly bring up shit and compare herself to.
Yeah, especially when this chick is such a fucking freak. Like, do you really want that? Yeah, I think he knew. Nope. I don't think I really want that.
My ex or ex-sexual partners in general, but my ex-girlfriend, and I was like, don't say stuff like that. Like, I'm dating you right now. Stop worrying about this. So later on in the night, she texts me saying, mass is needed. I am such a sweet girl and have love in my heart for you. I know this. And this carries into the morning where she says, hi, my sweet love. The next day around noon, she says, sorry for being kind of bitchy. Let me know when you're on your way. I say that I have arrived. We take a photo in our Halloween outfits. And on November 2nd, I say that I made it home. And she says that she hopes that I have a good day. So we've now made it through the entire month of October, and there's no indication of any kind of abuse, any kind of mistreatment, or even really anything negative. But
yeah, I think this bitch is a sex addict.
Almost every single day, she says something about how she loves me,
and also just
perfect,
generally
how
insane.
Everything is good. And she keeps sending me sexual stuff the entire time without me even asking. At the risk of belaboring the point, I do want to go through a few more messages just for the hell of it, just so I can confidently show that she was extremely sexual the entire time and never expressed any reservations about the sex we were having. On Wednesday, November 5th, out of nowhere, she texts me saying, I'm trying to make you nut. I just don't respond. On December 12th, she sends me nudes again. Kind of a weird thing to send to someone who apparently has sexual blackmail on you again, is it not? On December 24th, she says that I am a sweetie pie. She's grateful for me. She wants to make me nut again, in her words, and she hopes we're married for a long time. On January 2nd, she sends me a naked photo of herself again, unprompted. And the morning of January 8th, Rowan texts me saying that before she comes to visit me, she needs to know that my dick is working. Less than 36 hours later,
what does
I
that
broke up
mean?
with her. So as you can see, the texts don't lie. Rowan was blatantly the more sexual one in the relationship. I've produced evidence of this nearly every single week, and she didn't.
Yeah, that bitch is 1,000,000% a freak.
any, because there isn't any. But apart from the idea that I filmed her without her consent, and apart from the idea that I was a sexually abusive partner, she actually made some other claims as well. So another claim she made is that I encouraged her eating disorder.
Yeah, I told him very early on, like, hey, like, I've struggled with eating issues in the past, and I'm kind of
course
still
you did.
trying to gain some weight and make sure everything's okay. And he would tell me, oh, I love how skinny you are. I like how small you are, you know, like, I love how your body is, like, skinny, and, like, just say all this stuff that was incredibly
That sounds like a you problem. Sounds like something that is inside yourself that you need to fix. What the fuck does that have to do with Tom?
hard to hear.
This is also a pretty serious claim, and if true, would undoubtedly make me a pretty fucked up guy, but it's just not true. Here, I directly discourage her eating disorder, even giving her advice on gaining weight, and I say starving yourself is very bad for you. In this next screenshot, she says she used to be thick, but she self-nuked. I say you look the same more or less. I guess you lost some weight, but I think both are attractive. In this next one, she says that she feels skinny fat. I say I don't agree, and I say that working out is good. In this next one, she sends
Yeah. She'll be like, oh, I feel too skinny. I need to do something about that. But then later she's like, oh, I'm skinny, but I feel kind of fat. So I'm going to have to get rid of this. So I'm going to have to starve myself. What do I do? And it's just like, bitch, get on a routine, work out, eat some different foods, take a fucking walk. I don't know, jog, something. Holy shit. Get your life together, man.
an image that says nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, and I say that's a sickening image. Now for those who don't know, this is like it's like a pro anorexia slogan, I guess you would call it. Here in this next screenshot, she asked me if I'd still like her if she gained weight, and I say yes. Here in this next one, I tell her explicitly she should eat more food and drink protein shakes to gain weight, and I also tell her that gaining weight would be healthy for her, as well as saying I just want you to be healthy. Here in this next one, I tell her that I find her sexy how she is, but that it could be healthy for her to gain 5 to 10 pounds. So this is now 7 instances of me actively discouraging her eating disorder, despite her lying and saying that I was egging it on. Now, one of the other allegations that Rowan has levied towards me is that I'm into age play. She's not alleging that I did it with her.
Oh
She's
yeah,
alleging that I
that's
did
like the worst part of this whole thing, and it was nothing. I already know about this. It was nothing. But let's see what Tom's got to say about it. He'll probably give some more context on it.
With another girl named Ellie, who I briefly talked to 2 years ago. Now there's no... She's alleging that I did it with another girl named Ellie.
Nope. Nope. Absolutely not. That looks like a girl that I totally would have been into when I was like 22. And I was kind of still in my emo. It was like the exit of my emo phase.
Who I briefly talked to 2 years ago. Now, there's no proof whatsoever that I did anything close to age play, but I did text her about these allegations, and she clearly states that I've never done age play. An ex-girlfriend of mine named Kai, who I dated for 3 years, also publicly posted on Twitter saying that I never abused her and that we never did anything related to age play. So this brings the total counter up to 5 people: Rowan, Katie, Ellie, Kai, and another random girl I banged a year ago named Maddie, who for some reason came out in the midst of all of this to post pictures of her.
Tom banging a lot, dude. That's the problem. You need to not be banging so many bitches, because you be getting crazy bitches that are, you know, crazy. Like, why are you doing that? That just seems like you're going to destroy everything because you just want to get your dick wet. What are you doing? Stop doing that. Like, you need to get married. Hashtag stop gooning. That's his thing. He did that. His thing is hashtag stop gooning, and he can't stop gooning.
Herself in my house. And all of these people say that I never was into this fetish with them. The closest thing I've ever engaged in when it comes to age play is that sometimes girls do call me daddy during sex. It's a little embarrassing given that I am me. I accept that it's something people are going to see as a little bit strange. All I can really do at this point is accept that it's something that I've done, and I think that Rowan should accept it about herself too, given that
I don't think that's as much really like being a dad. I think it's literally like being head of the house. It's like being king, you know? That's really where that whole daddy role play comes from. It's not as much like you're fucking your daughter, I don't think.
That she also called me daddy during sex and over text repeatedly. In the same vein as this accusation, Rowan stated, "One more thing to add."
It also can refer to like pimps.
I thought was odd. Never really expressed any interest in Hello Kitty or that type of e-girl stuff, but I had like one Hello Kitty figure in my car. As a gift, Tom bought me Hello Kitty pajamas and a bunch of Hello Kitty stuff. So Rowan essentially wants you to believe that I'm pushing Hello Kitty onto her as if I have some kind of weird fascination with it. But the truth is that I
like Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty's cool.
A 23-year-old man, and I don't give a fuck about Hello Kitty, okay? The only reason I bought her anything Hello Kitty themed at all, which was once, by the way, was because she frequently expressed interest in it. Here she is sending me a photo with a Hello Kitty figurine next to her printer. Here she is sending me a photo with a hand-drawn and colored Hello Kitty image on her wall. Yeah, she made these herself. Here, in regards to her decorating my room, she says, "No Hello Kitty?" with a frowny face, and I say, "Correct." And something interesting about these texts is that she shows that she has a poster
Yeah,
of
it seems like everything that she's saying is all just projection.
movie Lolita on her wall. I wonder what the movie Lolita could possibly be.
Yeah, I wonder. I know about that movie. Anybody else know about that movie? I know all the history behind that, and it's not good.
About. This film is about a middle-aged professor who is sexually attracted to adolescent girls he calls nymphets. He rents a room in the house of a young widow to get closer to her 14-year-old daughter, Dolores Hayes Lowe, whom he calls Lolita. Obsessed with the girl, he eventually gains control over her after he takes her cross-country with him. Rowan even says that I should watch this movie, to which I reply that I feel like it's a movie adult men aren't supposed to see. In this next screenshot, Rowan asks me, if I start dressing like a weird Hello Kitty e-girl, would you still fuck with me? And I replied, no.
And I think this is how it started with Hollywood. I think it was people like this who were kind of freaky. But then whenever you have unlimited power, unlimited money, unlimited access, that's when you get into like weird satanic sexual rituals where it involves like entrails of children and things like that. It's so fucked, man. These people are fucking insane. All of them. Nope. Get rid of that sexual degeneracy. Don't have it in your life.
Oh, I don't want you to do that. I find it kind of repulsive. Here, Rowan is texting me upset that she has to take down all of the Hello Kitties from her dorm room. And this next one is probably the strangest reference to Hello Kitty out of all of them. Here, she's sending me a video that says, "Get you a man that takes you to the Hello Kitty hotel." And under it, she writes, "Imagine the rape here." And I say,
What? What? No. Yeah, that's immediately right there. He should have been like, all right, it's do or die.
I will not imagine. Now, with some of the more insane projections and lies out of the way, I'd like to get into some strange details that Rowan also decided to lie about for whatever reason she may have. One thing that a lot of people pointed out that's strange is that Rowan had taken a photo of us matching on Tinder before we met in person.
Yeah, I took a picture of the match because I could kind of tell there was like something weird about this guy. Like I didn't know if he was famous or whatever, and also I did that to other people as well on Tinder.
Just like everybody you meshed with to like gossip with, like girlfriends.
Yeah, like a couple of them. But yeah, he seemed like kind of weird, so I took pictures of our match.
She's also stated repeatedly that she's not a very online person multiple times throughout her testimony. But the wild thing about this is, Rowan had sent me a message on my YouTube connected Instagram all the way back on February 21st of 2024, 15 months before matching me on Tinder, where she said, "You have to do a video on this crazy guy on Twitter who only has like 3,000 followers, but this man is a menace."
Yeah, she 1000% was a fan. I think she just had a fetish. She got obsessed because she's retarded.
Even confronted her about this when we first hung out because I found it very strange that she lied to my face when she first met me and said she didn't know who I was. I said, "Hey, I looked at our messages on Instagram and saw you DM me over a year ago." Rowan said, "Oops, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't want to tell you, but I watched one of your vids a while ago and thought you were cute, but I thought it would be awkward." I responded, "That's okay. I was just surprised." She replied, "I know I probably look crazy." I said, "I mean, a little bit. It's okay. I just wish you told me, that's all." She answered, "I didn't want to because I thought it would be weird. I'm sorry." Kind of lied about some stuff. I was like a niche internet micro celebrity on Twitter for a little bit too. I'm chronically online and didn't want to admit it, lol.
Yeah, no
I've gotten
shit.
better about it. Once again, this is just another detail that it doesn't even make sense to publicly lie about, but it's just one of those things that makes me question her intentions throughout the entire relationship looking back. Publicly, she's also misrepresented the end of our relationship. In the interview, it stated that our breakup took place in December and that after that she realized how bad it was and she felt the need to contact Katie, who we're gonna get into later. This is blatantly untrue. We broke up on January 10th of this year, 2026, and she began posting about me on January 14th, literally days later. She says the breakup was kind of mutual, an idea that is just bitterly ironic because that's not the case. Immediately after I told Rowan
it's all projection, man. All projection.
That I wanted to break up with her, she began threatening.
She's a narcissist, and she had to look good in all of this.
To post about me online, and even began attempting to blackmail me into having sex with her again. I don't know what you want me to say to you. I just want to move on from our relationship and have you go be in your corner. You can meet other guys and it'll be fine. I'll go meet other girls. We'll just break. We'll break up.
No, you won't, because I'm gonna make it hard for you to ever be in a relationship.
Why?
Because you don't deserve one.
Oh, okay.
Why?
Because you're a piece of shit.
Why?
Because our whole relationship, you act like everything is all about you the whole time.
Well, it kind of is. You made it about him, and he's trying to make it about both of you. And, you just make it about him.
Okay.
You don't give a fuck. You're just an awful guy, and I'm so sorry that your mom raised you. She seemed like a nice lady, but clearly she did something very wrong.
Good one.
Okay, Rowan, I just want to move on and have my life, and you'll move on and have your life. And we can be in our own corners. We don't have to do damage to each other. We don't have to cause each other any more anguish, okay?
I just want to see you again, though.
What the fuck, dude? Holy shit, this lady is a demon. Yeah, I feel sorry for any dude that gets tricked into fucking her in the future.
Do you think we'll ever be able to see each other?
After the way these conversations have gone today, I really don't think so.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, don't do that. Do not. Don't even be like, I could fuck her. I'm in town. Nope, absolutely not. Huge mistake.
Why?
Because you're threatening to blackmail me.
I'm not.
Because you're a fucking crazy bitch.
Well, if you don't come see me, then I will.
I stated blatantly that I did not want to have sex with her. I didn't want to be with her anymore. I just wanted out
Well,
of the...
but I was joking. We were having a conversation on the phone, and I was upset.
Relationship.
Crazy
This
bitch.
is something she was completely unwilling to accept, and that's why after I stopped talking to her, she proceeded to call me over 30 times and
Of course
texted
she
me
did.
80 times with no response. She is publicly claiming to be a victim of sexual abuse while begging me to fuck her again.
You've done all this weird shit. I don't like it. You're so weird. You treat me badly, especially during sex. And over
I
the
can make all of this stop. I can make all of these attacks stop if you just fuck me. Just fuck me right now as hard as you can, and I'll stop all of it. Wow.
phone, I just listed everything that he had done wrong, and he was like, well, you can leave me if you want. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave you. That's basically what happened.
But there was no specific did you guys talk at all between breaking up and then?
Tom and I?
Yeah.
I don't believe so, because I blocked him.
Even this detail is also so insane. While it is true that once she started to lose her mind, I did stop talking to her, she continued speaking at me, alternating between begging me to forgive her for breaking up with her, saying she wanted to have sex with me again, and sending me psychotic text messages filled with lies that she...
You recorded other girls too. During sex, you recorded other girls during... Whoa. That sentence right there. During sex, you... It's like, imagine her saying that. And imagine her typing it, Like the same thing where you don't ask, you just pull your phone out and record it. That's illegal, Tom. I hope you delete them because you really have some sick power thing hitting and choking women, even leaving bruises. It's good to know I'm not the only one who felt extremely uncomfortable. Okay.
Came up with once I dumped her. Now, with Rowan dealt with, the next person I'd like to address is Clorox Katie. Katie's a girl I had a brief sexual relationship with 2 years ago, and she began posting about me on the same day as Rowan. Now, back when we were hanging out, she flew all the way from California to Maine to hang out with me twice. In the interview, she describes her time with me as the worst experience of her life.
And then you fly back, and how did that go? How long did you stay?
Horrible. That was the worst experience of my life, I think.
And she also took to the forum to make some posts about me. Yes, Tom is extremely harsh during sex. I've been down the kink roads in my life, and how he acts is actually just evil and almost sadistic. Not even kinked up, just actually a Patrick Bateman type gooner. When asked how things between us ended, here is what she had to say. I just truly thought he was a cringe who definitely was going to beat me later if I stayed around. We only had a 2-month fling, but even my insane ass was scared of how he acted, and he was also just stupid. I hated conversation with him. He was just extremely weird to me and also evil as fuck during sex. Naturally, people asked her why she hadn't reported me to the police.
She probably was the one who was stupid, not him. I imagine that probably was him trying to communicate with her really hard. But it's like communicating with an animal. You gotta really work the waters and see how to make them tick to get them interested.
And her response was, I thought about the police and looked into it, but again, it being across my own state lines and in Maine, it would have had to been filed there, and I lived on the opposite side of the country, so it just didn't seem feasible. These claims are once again so absurd to me that the best way to dispel them is to just look through our messages together. In these 2 DMs, you see that Katie comes to visit me for the first time on January 20th and leaves on January 23rd. She comes to visit me, she says she's excited, she then goes home, and after leaving my house the first time, she immediately texted me saying, I had so much fun, Tom. You can kidnap me whenever. I feel so alone in my bed. She then says that she has to come back. Now, days after coming the first time, she sends me...
They just crave this guy and he's not having it. So they crash out. That's kind of what you get for fucking crazy bitches all the time, I guess.
Nudes. Once again, this is kind of a weird thing to send to somebody that you're claiming is recording sex with you without your consent. Why would you send this person nudes? She then sends me nudes a second time, says she needs it, says so starved, so deprived, and she says that she misses me so much. I say, let's hang out.
Dude, what happened with, like, back in my day, it was always dudes that were sending the unsolicited nudes. Now all I'm hearing is women doing it.
Out in March. She says I'm down, but waiting until March will be so hard. On February 1st, Katie says that she misses me. On February 2nd, she slides up on my story and says she is counting down the days until she can see me again. She then says that she needs to see me ASAP, and she misses all the things about me. On February 4th, she says she wishes that she woke up cuddling me. On February 8th, she says she wants to have sex with me again. Once again, this is after the first time we hung out. February 18th, she says she's going to swallow me, and she then sends me naked photos of herself willingly. Keep in mind, once again, she's accusing me of recording sex with her without her consent, and then she keeps sending me naked photos of herself. She even sent me a video, by the way. She says, I need you right meow. I need you ASAP. February 22nd and February 24th, we have I miss you and are you home yet? February 28th, she slides up on my story and says, I'm gonna suck you so good. She then says, I need to see you now more than ever. Lots of hugs and hot sex. On March 2nd, she says, I like you lots. And I reciprocate. She says she can't wait to see me again. She then says that she's excited to see me that coming Saturday. In the next screenshot, I say, your pussy's gonna be so sore. And Katie responds with, good thing we had to wait a while, because then I can take a beating. She then says, I'm ready for you to throw me around. Now, when we were discussing how many days she would want to stay, she says, as long as you want, and that we'll have so much sex and party so hard. And she then once again expresses how excited she is. On March 7th, she sends me a barrage of unsolicited sexual photos, including her with BDSM leather on her butt. On March 8th, she says all she can think about is me, and she can't wait for my dick to be down her throat. And on March 10th at 7 in the morning, which is...
Dude, he just keeps getting himself tied up. Pun unintended this time. He keeps getting himself tied up with all these crazy bitches who like the rape play. Like, red flags, dude. Does he not see the flags, or is his dick thinking for him? I think that's probably the answer.
4 a.m. her time. She says that she is so excited to see me that she cannot sleep. Now, with the Instagram messages out of the way, we can move on to the text messages. So on March 10th, this is the second visit, right? Prior to getting there, she says that she is starving for me. Now, March 15th, this is when she leaves. She says I still have her toothbrush, but that I have to let her come back. Now, keep in mind, Katie, in her own words, said that this second time visiting me was the worst experience of her entire life.
How long did you
Horrible. That was the worst experience of my life, I think.
She basically describes being physically abused in the interview. She even says that while we were having sex, she would ask me to stop doing something, and I wouldn't. But that did not.
Yeah, well, she was in a group where somebody was doing an interview and it was going to be like official. So she wanted to get her say in. She wanted to feel like she was part of the crowd. Wanted to feel like she had something to trauma dump.
Happen. You may also recall her stating that she ended things with me because I was such an insufferable person to be around. She claims that after the second trip, she began to realize she was a victim.
Yeah, and that's kind of like when things really started piecing together to me that I was like, wait, I think I am a victim right now. Like, something's not right here.
In her words, this is why she stopped talking to me. She says that she was scared of me. She says she was scared that I would beat her. Well, on March 20th, which is after the second visit, she texts me saying, Tom, I really like spending time with you, but I'm kind of worried about if you actually...
These bitches be dumb. They be so dumb. They're trying to say all this shit in this interview, accusing him all this shit, and it explodes on social media. And he's like, what are you doing? We have text messages. Like, did you think that deleting them off your phone deletes them forever? Because I still have them.
Like me or just using me, lol. I'm just BPDing, and so I'm tweaking and need reassurance. Are you just having fun with me, or do we have something? To which I respond, well, I like you and I think you're cool, and perhaps we even have something. However, I would make a bad boyfriend, so I don't really want to date anyone officially, I guess. Yeah. I was abundantly clear with my intentions with her. I did not want anything serious at that time. But apparently, this is the period she began to realize.
You need something serious. You need to settle down, bro. Get you a wife, have some little Toms, some little Tom Darks, have some Tom Lights. Change to Tom Light. Don't be Tom Dark no more. You need to read the Bible, go to church, or your life's going to be all fucked up. If this doesn't happen, I think that we're going to be seeing Mr. Turkey Tom here again. All right, let's move on to Tectone. Oh, wow, it's the first one that popped up. YouTube knew what I was wanting.
Currently, my favorite content creator is this guy called WestJet. I feel like this guy
is
one of
WestJet.
the funniest motherfuckers on the platform, and he's a bastard. He's and I want to go on record saying that WestJet is a piece of shit. He is. I used to be horrified of this guy because he's so fucking funny. You're never gonna beat him in any argument. You're never gonna expose him for anything.
Even if he's wrong.
You're never gonna get underneath his skin because he's so fucking charismatic. Anyways, enough dick sucking. WestJet made a video on Mizkif because Mizkif's mad that people aren't mad at me enough. And the reason why, Miz, let me just,
Is because nothing happened and everything that I saw made him look fucking based.
Break the immersion here for you real quick. The reason why people aren't mad at me is because I didn't fucking do shit. And the reason why people are mad at you is because you're just unbearable. Nobody likes you, bro. It's like that's the reality, bro. Like, Mizkif, to break it down for you, the reason why everybody is still on your ass is because nobody likes your ass. Nobody likes your ass. You suck. You're a bitch. You just bitch and whine and moan. You treat people like NPCs. Straight up, you go, dude, do you see how many fucking videos?
He acts like his chat's real. He'll see some glazing from his chat and be like, you guys, you know what's up. You're the only ones who know. And then these dumbasses will give him money too because they think they're real, but they're actually fake also. It's so weird to me.
The views I got of this shit, dude. And it's like, bro, now you get like 5. I can count on my fingers how many views you get now. You have this many. Nobody likes your ass, bro. And the other thing is that you need to be liked while treating people like shit. Just get a grip, let go, masturbate. You'll feel better, brother.
Because this guy's channel runs on hatred. So he already wants this community, and we'll see the comments that just, the Mizkif
I think it runs on making fun of retards like Mizkif. Like, when you're a lol cow, all you see is people shitting on you because all you do is things worthy of being shit on.
Files are getting worse. The Mizkif files just got worse. Mizkif files go crazy. The Mizkif just got sued. Emerald Asmongold. Emerald just dropped Mizkif files.
Problemo. Massive day for the unemployed. Mizkif is angry at.
The greatest photo of Mizkif I've ever seen. Bro, say what you want about Mizkif. Bro, those lips got to be able to do some crazy shit. That's all I'm saying. Dude. This is, I believe this is public record.
He could suck a golf ball out of a water hose.
Mizkif sucked a trans person dick once. I remember that. He told me the dick tasted like avocado. Bro, you know his head game was crazy. Bro, look at those fucking lips. God damn, bro. Bro's looking like Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball. Like, that is insane. Bro giving the anyways.
But what did I do? Anyway, Mizkif, bro admitted to...
Brings me up. He's bringing me up again. Why? Because he wants his chat and his community to attack me because they...
It's because you're just a fucking... You're a bitch. You're miserable.
Oh, sending army to attack me. I hope somebody sends their army to attack me with words online that don't actually fucking mean anything from fake people who have nothing to do with my real life. Man, I can't wait for something like that to happen. Mizkif is such a fucking crybaby.
Oh, miserable. Oh, look at that.
They already all hate me because this guy's channel runs on hatred. This guy's channel runs on hatred.
I would like to say that I think WestJet's channel is great. I don't think he runs on hatred by any means. I feel like he runs on happiness and sunshine and jokes. And even more so, I would like to say, Mizkif, he did compliment your sweater. He did. And don't make me pull up the VOD. He said you had a nice shirt.
Again, the kettle is calling the pot black. Look at your last 8 videos.
Runs on hatred.
Get a load of this guy. Firstly, our channel runs strictly off positivity. You know, we spread good vibes. We make jokes, you know, albeit sometimes at the expense of others, but...
He already wants this community, and
they do it to
see the
themselves.
comments that just are like, wow, Mizkif basically is a piece of shit. He's trying to make people look away from his shit. That's all he wants.
Bro, that's not...
Bro, that's what people are already saying, bro. WestJet doesn't have to change the public opinion. That's what motherfuckers are already saying.
Not true, and here's proof.
Yeah, it's like they think that everybody's coming up with these on their own, just trying to hate them. No, this is the collective, man. This is what people really think about you.
Said you had a nice shirt, man. Also completely unrelated, but that's a pretty cool sweatshirt. Did someone throw...
Yeah, bro, he complimented your shirt. How can you possibly be mad? I feel like you're just hating, bro. And to be fair, I would like to go on record. I too think Mizkif had a very cool shirt. I do. It was pretty nice. Okay, so let's all back off Mizzy Wizzy for a little bit, okay?
Well, plushie Adam, it ain't that serious, man. Just say thank you.
Not so bad, but Emmy was also violent. She would throw...
I think he looks like the miserable uncle that never grew up past high school and is never gonna have kids.
Clothes or plushies at me.
Anyway, just queef up.
I hate how I was gone to where I couldn't farm that meta. Bro, you could not waterboard me to have a worse defense than saying my ex-girlfriend was abusive. She threw fucking Kirby at me. Oh, bro, I was dying with that shit, bro. The shit I was saying off stream, man, good times. Hey, it's demon time. Demon time, boys. Like he's fucking Ben 10 slapping the fucking omnibus. Like, all right, bro, what the fuck was that? Bro actually thought he farmed Aura with that, bro.
Yeah, dude, that was such the lamest shit. Demon time. Like, a 5-year-old could come up with a better name for a movement that you were doing. Demon time. It's so cringe.
Anyways. Uploaded a video saying WestJet and Legal Mindset just up really bad. Day for the unemployed.
But you pinned his comment.
How is that a gotcha? Yeah, I pinned this comment. It was funny. He said...
Guys, by the way, the Wi-Fi and the Ethernet from jail, very good. 3 conjugals a week. So tell your mom I'm still interested.
I can't wait to go live from prison. Like, that's a crazy comment. Do you expect me not to pin that?
Despite making...
You got to see the new one. The new one's even better. 11,000 upvotes. Mizkif better not drop the soap as my prison buddy.
Videos about me and others relentlessly.
I know who you are.
Do you?
You're an evil rapist.
Already coming at me 15 seconds in the video.
You know me well.
Takes one to know one.
Got him.
Obviously, I don't think Mizkif is a... That was just a joke. You know, I plead the fifth. My hands are in...
Of course not. Of course not. And by the way, I think I've been very fair. I have also never said that Mizkif, you know, I've never touched the whole essay shit with Mizkif. I've never touched that shit.
I don't give a fuck.
I never will.
Yeah, like all these people are weird and they're a bunch of sexual degenerates because I don't really give a fuck. But Emiru seems sweet and has a sweet persona, and you fucked up doing what you did, going after her. You know, it was real bad. Whole bunch of weird
Wonder
shit.
why? Because that's fucking weird. Straight up. Okay, let the police do their work. I'm not gonna say shit because that's just weird, right? That's just weird. But that's just me. Let's keep going here.
The air. Still don't know who Tectone is? He's a former Genshin Impact content creator who lost all of his hair due to stress. Oh, and he's also 42 years old.
Trying to soften the blow by making jokes that he's bald, and that's it.
All right, bruh. I always make these jokes, but I guess I'm softening the blow.
Okay. I could react to this whole video, but I'd rather you guys just go watch WestJet's whole video. But I wasn't even thinking about talking about this, but the mere fact, and it's so blatantly obvious to anybody who has eyes, Mizkif is trying so hard. I'm 32, by the way, guys. I'm 32. Mizkif is trying so hard to deflect and distract from his own issues so bad. It's hilarious. And you know what the crazy thing is? It actually worked for a little bit. It worked for like 2-3 days. We're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It didn't work. It really didn't. Like, people were like, whoa, there's something weird going on here, but Mizkif is saying it, so we're gonna have to wait. So it died immediately.
Mizkif is cooking, and then they realize, oh wait, everybody who was supporting him was fucking retarded. Legitimately. You know, Miz has become a little bit obsessed with me. And I'm not gonna lie, one of my proudest achievements, I can't believe he actually said this while live, and I'm pretty sure I have the clip bookmarked somewhere. Mizkif said that I am personally responsible for ruining his life. First
What a compliment.
of all, thank you. You make me blush. I also came. Second of all, no, I fucking didn't, man. The reality is, and I've said this multiple times,
You ruined your own life, and these streamers, they're all ruining their own lives because they're fucking retarded. They can't take accountability for shit. They always say the wrong shit. They get political. They have sexual degenerate. I don't even know what to call them. They got parties going on. They're doing drugs. Oh, they're exchanging hands or exchanging money. It's so weird. It's like a big club and you ain't in it, but it's the smaller version of the big club, so there's not as much weird stuff going on. And I don't think there's Satanism going on. There's a little bit of that. But with the IRL streaming all the time, it's kind of hard to really do all kinds of weird shit when you're streaming. But you can definitely talk about it and do some weird shit behind the scenes.
the only person who ruined your life is you. Because you cannot stop obsessing over this shit. And what's crazy is you always tell me that I'm the one obsessing. Miz, this whole situation is the pot calling the kettle black. You need to get a grip, you need to lock the fuck in, and you need to just work on yourself. It doesn't matter how many people that you have in the Discords, Paracord and Extracord, and you pay them to harass me and slander me and go after my friends. It doesn't matter that I have documented proof that you worked with Mike from PA and Denims. I've seen all of this shit.
How about that?
I've seen all of this.
I didn't know that.
I've seen the fact that you also viewbot. I see the fact that you
Well, I knew
also
that.
pay people to get positive PR posts on.
I don't give a fuck about viewbotting. I think everybody's viewbotting, or at least for the most part, everybody's viewbotting, whether they want to or not. And I will never viewbot myself, hence why I've got so little views for so long. If I explode in views randomly, it wasn't going to be because, it's not going to be because of viewbots. It's going to be because probably somebody rated me and I get shared a lot.
On you, because
Or
your
it just never happens.
online presence is the only thing
I still be here.
in this world that matters to you, and you have nothing else when the camera turns off. You need to work on yourself. You need to take time off. You need to heal, brother.
Yeah, that's the difference for me. This isn't my job. This isn't really my lifestyle. This is my hobby. I do this for the love of the game. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to be here with 0 viewers just because I like doing it. Gives me something to do. I like playing around with stuff on my computer. I like doing designs and stuff. I like live streaming. I like playing games. I like talking about drama. Some people watch it. So that's who I'm talking to.
You do. You need therapy so fucking bad, it's ridiculous. You need to get a grip. You need to lock the fuck in. And maybe you wouldn't be so fucking miserable if your real life had anything worth going to for, but you have nothing. And that's what sucks. You have the $1 million mansion in LA and you have nothing. It doesn't matter because these things that you have don't matter. Work on filling your life with things that are more real, more authentic, and take care of yourself, dude. Okay, because Miz is as
I don't get it. I got all this nice stuff, but I'm still so fucked up and sad. Dude, it's a tale as old as time. And everybody knows the cure for that. Everybody knows that being a millionaire is not the answer. Sure, it's nice to be a millionaire, but that's not it, man. Money doesn't buy happiness. Views don't buy happiness. Actually, I think views make you worse. Makes you go insane. Makes you feel like you have such a huge responsibility. If I get a whole bunch of views, I'm not going to give a fuck. And it's just going to happen. And if they fall off because I don't give a fuck, guess what? I still don't give a fuck.
Much as I don't enjoy you as a human being, I want you to at least take care of yourself. And I told you this in video, and I mean this. Get some therapy, get some help, find some things that ground you, okay? For real. And when all that's done, okay, and I mean this, Miz, if you go to therapy for 30 days and you can get off the schizo arc, I will throw you a bone, okay? I'll do a podcast with you, okay? And I'll try to help you get those numbers up, all right? Because I know it's very important to you. So just go get some help, go get some therapy, and maybe we'll collab. I know you begged Sneeko for one and he said no, but you know what? I will collab.
1000%. Mizkif looked up the numbers for this comeback stream that he did, because Mizkif did a comeback stream and it did not do so well.
With you, and we'll start a podcast. Okay? I love you very much. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Great. That's a good one.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, glad to know that all the people that I somewhat enjoy to watch on YouTube and X are doing all right. They're vindicated. They aren't actually doing crazy evil shit, which even if they were doing the things that they were alleged, I kind of don't give a fuck compared to what's actually going on in the world. You know what? Yeah, it's just whatever, man. It's just whatever. I'll be here in the next stream every night, 9 p.m. Central. Awesome. It's going to get crazy. I'm probably going to get canceled off of YouTube. If that's the case, then I'm everywhere else, man. You'll know where to find me, because I'll make sure it's posted.